Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
And this your boy DJ.
All right, let's get right into it. Happy New Year, first and foremost, to everybody tuning in now. It is a new year. It is 2023. Mm-hmm. I know some of you guys are doing the New Year, New Me thing, and I want you to stick with that, right? If you're really about it. But if you know you're full of shit, do everybody a favor and just continue to shut the fuck up. We don't care, okay?
Wait, is that how you kicking it off?
Yeah, we're kicking it off. We're kicking it out. Hey, what if my resolution was to be brutally honest? Is that a problem?
You've been doing that since like 2000.
2000?
1985.
We've been listening to you for like 5 years now. We know.
We kidding.
That'd be wild. But yeah, Happy New Year. I've seen a lot of posts and a lot of energy on the internet basically stating like if you made it into the new year, that's enough, right? And I think there's some validity behind that. You know, maybe you went through some things and making it into the year was important. But this is where I push back on that. I think there's a certain level of mediocrity that comes with that statement. Just making it is not always going to be enough. Because some of the people that say this, they're the same ones that complain about their life and they don't do anything about it. So I encourage those to not live and just sulk in mediocrity. Start doing something great, man. And also understand we're all going to fucking die one day. And you don't know when you're going to die. So when you have this nonchalant attitude about how your life is going in 2023, like, don't say anything if this is your energy that you're bringing into the year. I think you should always find new milestones and try to do something more productive with yourself instead of just existing.
Yeah, I think for us, like we were with DJ and his wife on New Year's Eve, and I think that there is a group of people that just kind of talk about it, and then there's a group of us that are like really trying to figure out life.
Right.
And I think if you most people that just talk about it, they don't really know they just talk about it too. Like
they don't realize it.
Yeah, they're the person that'll call you like, man, I want to start a podcast. What do I need to buy to start a podcast? Or what do I need to do this? And then, 3 years later, they send the same message like, hey, bro, I was wondering, like, what do I need to do to start a podcast? But so those people, they're kind of in a separate thing. And I think that's like the people you talking to, the people that just like new year, new me. This is my goal. They might get a Planet Fitness membership and they're going to go for a week. And then, by the time January 7th, 8th come around, they're going to be back to eating burgers and, eating fries all day long.
Oh yeah.
But like, I think that, the people that at least I try to surround myself around, and not that I'm operating at the optimal clip right now, but I just try to surround myself or even have the conversations that kind of that are more in line with like, yo, how do we figure out this thing? Like I was having this conversation the other day. I'm like, we are doing, as all three of us, we're doing something that has like not been done yet. There's not really a comedian from Bakersfield that like really grew up here that we know of that's like doing anything. There's not podcasters here that we can look up to, like that's the example. Like we're paving the way for we're paving the way for like everybody here that is in this content space or in this entertainment space. And at times you wish you could be like yo, like I just wish I could pick up the phone and be like, yo, how do I do this, or how do I get this right, or how do I get this amount of followers? But in reality it's like us just like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So I know for me, like, we try to bring in the new year with the right type of energy, like really sitting down, writing our goals out, putting together like actionable plans, like how can we do this, putting together like, systems and equations as far as like how can we keep each other accountable. And then also not wait until the new year. You know what I mean? Like starting, you guys, DJ, him and his wife, they started their podcast, a couple months ago. And, for me, just certain things that I want to accomplish in 2023 or this year, I started December, November, you know what I mean? We got the you're wearing a hat right now.
Oh yeah.
That's part of what we're trying to do in the new year is, find a way to make money on a podcast, but also we didn't wait till January 1. You know what I mean? So to me, January 1 is just another day, But in terms of, how most of society looks at it, it's like, yo, this is like, my New Year's resolution is like every day, how can I improve myself? How can I do this better? How can I start something new? How can I face my fears? All these things that I'm doing consistently.
Yeah. Also, I was on the phone with Keith the other day. What did you say about perception, or like your life being basically like the way your life goes is purely perception? Mm-hmm. And we might think that our life or a single year was so bad that we were just lucky enough to make it through that year. And I think that that's purely perception, because if you actually took a real look back at the year, you can find reasons why going into a new year you have something positive to hold on to or to build on.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you look back and be like, man, 2022 was just a completely bad year. It's like, really? Did you die?
Yeah.
Was every day, did you end up homeless? Did you lose your house? Did you lose your job? There has to be something that you can look at and be like, you know what? This negative thing did happen, but I also did this, and this.
Yeah.
And if I just can build on that going forward. And that's why I have been saying this. I was actually going to say it on our podcast, but I'll say it here as well.
Oh, we can get the gems over here too. You ain't got to save it for the...
There's always this thing of like new year, new me.
Talk heavy.
And I'm like, you're not going to get a new you. You are you, no matter what. But what you can do is say new year, new decision making, new year, new goals, new year, new, I don't know, courage, new year, new faith, new year, new whatever. You can make modifications to who you already are for you to get better results. Because it's not a new you want. It's the fact that you don't like your circumstances. So it's not you want to change. You want to change your circumstances. So change some of your behaviors. Because as far as a new you're not about to die and return right now. You're going to, who you are is going to be who you are. You just have to be the best version of that. And we talked about it earlier before we started, was self-awareness. So once you have enough self-awareness to be like, man, this is where I'm weak at, or this is where I'm strong at, you then know how to navigate as being you. So there is no new year, new me. Just know how to operate in this world as you. So yeah, that's just what I think about it.
I know part of that conversation we were talking about, I was reading this book called Chop Wood, Carry Water, and one of the things that it said, it talked about starting your day with a certain things that you want to accomplish, and then at the end of the day, whether you accomplish the things, you may start off the day by saying like, I want to work out, I want to read, I want to drink such and such amount of water, I want to maybe go visit my grandma or something like that. And you have like these 4 things on your list. In reality, you may not get to all of them just because that's how life operates. Something may come up. You might your tire may get flat, and all these things that may happen. At the end of the night, you want to start out with what you did accomplish. So it'd be like, yo, I did go work out. I did drink 40 ounces of water. I did do this, but I didn't get to go see my grandma. And then you kind of like move that forward to another day, and just like you could accomplish that tomorrow or on the weekend or something like that. But when you start off in that positive space, like this is what I actually set out to do, it kind of flips your mindset. Because I think a lot of people, those people that go into the new year like, dang, I got here by any means. Like I dragged all the way here and I got to 2022 and everything is all, 2022 was like or 2023, but 2022 is the worst year ever. It comes from that space where like, that negativity that people carry is sometimes it's like overwhelming,
Yeah. I'll say this. If you say that 2022 was the worst year and this how much of that had to do with you?
Yeah.
Right? You're the common denominator. So I think that all the things that DJ and Keith just said, as far as, trying to revive yourself or, refine who you are, all these things, right? You could do all those things, or you could just shut the fuck up and do it. Mm-hmm. Stop alerting motherfuckers to what you want to do. Oh, I'm going to do this year. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Just fucking do it, man. That is probably the most effective tool. Shut up. Stop bringing that energy on yourself. Stop alerting all these motherfuckers to what you got going on and just fucking do it. Because at the end of the day, no one gives a fuck. This is a results-driven society.
Yeah.
If you say I'm going to lose 75 pounds and you don't do it, people don't care. because you didn't do what you said you was gonna do. So shut up. If your goal was 75 pounds and you lost 65, you still won, but you didn't alert everybody to it.
There was this dude named I won't say his name, but I have like this mentor that I work with. He's a screenwriter, and I met with him like on 3 occasions. I met with him on last Tuesday, like after the holidays and stuff like that. And I was supposed to write I was supposed to send him like 15 pages or something like that. When I met with him on Tuesday, like we just kind of chopped it up, and I was like, yeah, I tried to write this morning, it just didn't really work out, and all these things. So we talked about the story and how I can develop it and how I can turn it into something that could be really good. And then it's like an hour meeting on Zoom, and then like halfway through it, he said this to me. He's like, what we're doing right now is like we're making the documentary about the movie. And what he was saying was like, because you haven't executed, because you haven't given me the script, because you haven't given me the pages that you said you would do, like all we're doing is having a conversation. We're having a podcast about the script that should be like a physical thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people. Like it's just all talk. It's like sports commentary. It's a podcast. It's a documentary about the idea that you want to create, instead of like us being able to like really consume, the content that we're trying to create.
Go ahead, you're good.
Well, truthfully, in you saying that, because a lot of these things be helpful for me. So in you saying that, you realize really talking is wasting time. Like that whole time you was talking, you could have been acting, because like Eddie said, nobody cares. Number one, nobody cares. Number two, depending on who you are, nobody believes you anyway.
100%.
So like he said, I'm gonna lose 75 pounds this year. If you done said that for the last 6 years and they did it,
no one gives a
literally
fuck.
Nobody's like, man, I think they're gonna do it this time.
Even your family wishes you would shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And so you actually start to gain more respect when you just be quiet and you just start acting, and then let other people notice and say like, wow, you've been losing weight, haven't you? And then even then keep in mind, it's like, I'm down like 15, but it's whatever, This
is probably a bad analogy here, but let's say you're broke, you don't got a great job, things are going bad, you're in the dumps, and you tell everybody, see, watch, I'm broke right now, but I'm going to come up and I'm going to have a Lamborghini in the next 2 years, right? And let's say you start doing better and you work hard, but then you come back and you come with a Camry 2 years later. They're going to be like, nigga, where the Lamborghini at?
Yeah.
But if you just shut the fuck up and worked on yourself, everybody will respect it. Yeah. You have to stop. We have to stop. I think social media is part of the reason why we do this. We make all these huge proclamations and all these promises and shit, when truth be told, it means nothing.
Yeah.
You know what? And I don't want to jump off of this, but since we're talking about the new year, can you guys be honest with your friends, please? I think that's something we should really carry into this new year. If you got a friend that's a 40-year-old rapper and he's trying to break into the industry, just tell that nigga to get his CDL, please.
Get his CDL.
Tell this nigga to get his CDL, man, and stop playing.
That's hilarious.
You a 41-year-old dude trying to break into the rap industry? I don't want to crush your dreams, sir, but truth be told, they're not looking for 41-year-old rappers that rap like, a nigga from 1986, okay?
Is that a hip hop?
Nigga be in 2023. I said a hip hop hibbity bop bop. Like if you don't shut the fuck up, nigga.
He finished his verse and said, "Alright."
Skibbity doo wop.
Yeah.
Put skippy doo wop in a skibbity bop. Get it going on the pop like soda pop.
Alright.
Niggas used to really rap like that.
They used to really rap like that. And then them same old niggas would be like, this new music is trash. Back in my day, we used to rap. They'd be like, DJ Flash in the way to be. You'd be like, yeah, y'all niggas is trash.
Definitely want to be honest with the people. But I feel like when you really love somebody, you're honest with them. So if somebody's not being honest with you, they're not really your friend anyway.
Facts.
Because I'm being honest with you because I don't want to see you hurt.
Yes.
I don't want to see you whatever. I want you to prosper. So I got to be honest with you, even when it might hurt you for a moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like because you love me back, you will hear what I'm saying and at least consider it and not take it as like it's coming from a place of malice. Me in that same conversation, me and Keith talked about like people need to understand when I'm saying something to you, trust the love that I have for you, to know that it's not coming from a place of hate, malice, wanting to hurt you. It's literally only coming from a place of trying to help. Now, if you don't want to take that help or take the honesty, that's cool too. And because we love each other, we'll move forward. This relationship will continue. We'll still be friends. But I got to tell you, I can't just sit there, because one thing is we're going to tell somebody. If you're not telling the person, you telling another friend, like, man, he trying to rap at 41. He tripping.
And that would be on you.
Yeah, you done told everybody but him. And then when he comes to you hurt, when he comes to you hurt, it's like, man, I knew that 2 years ago and I didn't tell him. And I didn't let my boy hurt himself or whatever.
But, it's this. A lot of it is on us as friends. And I think it's vital and it's very important that we are honest, to the point where it could hurt motherfuckers, but we got to let them know. I'd rather hurt you and it come from a loving place than me sit back and watch you just devolve as a fucking person, right? Like, it's like a woman complaining about these men ain't no good. They don't know a good woman when they see them, and her friend know all and well that she's a motherfucking hoe and she's sleeping with all these dudes complaining about men ain't shit. You fucking everybody. A man don't want to marry a woman like that. But your friend needs to tell you that. Right? The same as if you a dude and you like, man, these hoes ain't shit, man. All they want to do is this. Where the good women at? Nigga, you trash. You attract trash. You a trash ass nigga. Okay? You trash.
You a garbage man.
You're a garbage man. Go jump in the trash can. Okay?
You come every Tuesday at 6:30 a.m.
You Oscar the Grouch, bro. You are fucking Oscar the Grouch. And you complaining about women, right? So I think there needs to be a very freaking slicing to the core honesty with your friends. If your friend is trying to rap at 41 years old, man, I'm telling you guys right now, tell that nigga to get his CDL and find a local job somewhere, because it ain't working, man.
Going down to the tip agency.
We got people like this in our family, all of us. We got people, it don't got to be a rapper. It could be anything. And they're trying to do it. They could be trying to be an R&B singer or something, and they can't sing worth the fuck. But as family, we go to all their shows and be like, that's right, girl, sing. And we the only ones in the motherfucking stage, because ain't nobody else trying to hear that shit.
I think that the example of people not understanding why relationships aren't working for them too,
that's bad.
Is like, that's the more common thing for men and women, because people really be like letting their friend point the finger at everybody else and not being honest with their friend and being like, well, look, this is where you could be better. Have you tried this?
Not cheating.
It's no disrespect, but like this is what I see. Or flat out telling somebody, don't let your friend tell you a situation they had with another person and they're clearly wrong, but you sit there and agree with say nothing or agree with them being. No, you need to be like, honestly, you was wrong right there.
The most manly thing you could really do is hold your friend accountable. Because if they come to you talking about, my girl over here yelling at me talking about, I need to get a job. Nigga, you need to get a job. That's why your wife is mad, nigga. You ain't got no motherfucking money. Ain't nobody trying to be taking care of a grown ass nigga. Get a fucking job. So I think it's important that we have these conversations. And as men and as real friends, we need to hold each other accountable. There's times where, and here's the thing, you don't got to be disrespectful. I know it sounds bad coming from me, like, oh, this nigga Eddie sound like he just be wilding out. I don't. I think that you need to really craft the time and really think about how you're going to frame, how you speak to people. Make sure you walk them off alone with you and them. Don't be like talking, trying to be honest in front of a bunch of people, because now they're going to take it as you trying to clown them. Right? So be respectful. Take them to the side and say, hey, man, first off, I love you, man, but you ain't had a job in 5 years, man. And them kids need to be taken care of, man. Your lady is mad at you, and I'm telling you, she mad because you ain't had no job, bro. Right? But here's the truth, though. Here's a truth bomb for y'all. I would never be hanging out with a nigga that didn't have no job. And it ain't got nothing to do with me judging them, but that's a character flaw. That's a huge character flaw. I don't hang around men that don't take care of their kids. If you a dude that got 4 kids, 5 kids, and you don't take care of none of them, I can't be your friend. I don't even have kids. But I can't be around a man who is that lacks that much responsibility, because I'm that much of a friend. With the first inkling that I see of you being like that, I'm gonna tell you, nigga, you need to get your shit in order. right? And if you don't, I'm not talking to that nigga no more because now you gonna bring my life down, and now people gonna be thinking I'm like you.
Yeah.
And if you ain't shit, be nothing on your own. I ain't got nothing to do with you.
Just to be clear too, he does not mean 9 to 5.
Facts.
It means working, whether you're working on building your business, working on whatever. You're not just sitting at home taking naps all
Scratching
day
your ass and watching Netflix.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck what anyone does.
While your girl at work working hard.
Yeah.
Whatever the case.
No matter what you do, long as you give an effort and you trying to make money. You could be selling postage stamps. It doesn't fucking matter.
I thought you was gonna say pussy. I was like, damn.
Oh no! If you're a nigga, if you're a man, you don't got a vagina. Well, I mean, in today's world, you know,
You just never know.
you ain't get your trans on.
You get your trans on. Get your trans on,
Whoa.
nigga. Get your trans on.
Go ahead, ma'am. Sorry, DJ.
I don't know. I don't know now.
Yeah, but
I think I will say, like, I'll push back on you a little bit in terms of the idea people. It's definitely a character flaw to just continually say, or, you know, we talked about earlier, like a situation where we be in the genesis of an idea. It could be like me and Eddie, you know, we be on the phone. Not that this ever happened, but we'd be on the phone like, man, like, oh, dog, we should get a new studio. And then I'd be like, new studio coming soon. Like, that's definitely like
bullshit,
not the right energy. But I think there's some value to like giving your word to like what you want to accomplish. Like I know DJ shared, I'm not gonna share it for him, but he's been telling me certain things that he wants to do. And like for me, I've been going around telling everybody that I want to do like a movie premiere for this like short film that I'm doing. So in most of the conversation, but what it does for me is it makes it real. You know what I mean? And also like it creates, it almost like gives it life to where like people would be like, oh, that's cool that you want to do that. I actually know the person that manages such and such theater.
You go.
You know, so but it takes you to develop yourself in a way where you are an executor.
Yes.
But if you're just an idea person, that it just everything just kind of falls on deaf ears.
You also don't go tell the world.
yes,
You got to be careful because some things people will say for attention. So you might broadcast something just so that everybody can be like, you got it, go ahead, I'm proud of you, all that stuff, when really you're not about to do it. But when you're serious, you tell people who are close to you that you believe will water that seed that you're planting and help you actually get to that goal. It helps you to tell people. So when we're saying that, we're not saying like don't let nobody know.
Yeah.
But it's just like let the right people know. And it does. It kind of helps give you some accountability. So if I got a goal and I'm telling Keith because I believe that Keith is going to speak life over that goal and even continue to ask me about like, hey, how's that going? Just simple, how's that going will keep you kind of in check and keep you accountable because it'd be like, man, you don't want to be like, it's not going at all. I quit that.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. I just thought about this because you never know where you're gonna be. In the next coming years, I could be married or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, what I work on as a man is beating habits into myself.
Yeah.
And doing what I say I'll do. And here's why. You need to be walking that walk because if you get married or in a relationship and you don't have that inside yourself, your partner gonna not even believe in you. They're gonna be like, oh, this nigga he don't do it for him.
Yeah.
So that's a huge.
That's the worst space to be in.
That's the worst space to be in because I would say this. I can't speak for women, but I feel like they would want to be able to rely on you when you say you're going to do something, you follow up with it. Yeah. But when you're the type of dude that would be like, yeah, we fuck to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. 3-4 weeks go by. You don't do it. Now she's seeing a pattern.
She's listening to you.
She's listening to you.
Talking.
Women are constantly evaluating you on a daily fucking basis. And we act like that's not really happening. Like we kind of don't realize it, but they are. So when you a dude that's really about your shit, you'll see the level of energy that they have towards you when it comes like, hey, I'm doing this. And the thing about it too, I wouldn't even feel comfortable telling my wife until I've already been working on some shit already. If I got some shit on the ground, I'll be like, hey, babe, I've been working on this thing. They'll be like, oh, you started this. Why didn't you tell me? And then they realize that you're the type of dude that's about action, not about talking. Because talk is cheap to anybody. But when it's your girl or your wife, it's just like the nigga. It's no different than the dude that's a tough guy, right? He out there poking his chest out, yelling and shit. But his girl know he a pussy.
Yeah.
She know he'll get knocked the fuck out.
She know better than anybody.
She know better than anybody. She know you pussy. But that's the thing. This is why as men, we have to do a better job of not only being honest with ourselves, but with our homies. Like, hey, man, don't get loud with that nigga at the bar. You know you ain't about that. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and go stand over there, bro.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Let's just get better, man. Like, I don't want to stray too far off the topic. Let's get better just in life. I know this.
Yeah.
It's a new year, right? But the new year and the first day of the year is a reminder that we have another 365 days of this year. We might not make it through this year, but if we're working towards something, then it means something. Not only that, you got to ask yourself this: if you was to die where you are right now, would you be happy with the result of your life? And a lot of people, a lot of motherfuckers would say no.
Yeah.
They would not be happy. They'd be like, yo, I'm way overweight. I'm broke. I'm this, I'm that. No, I wouldn't be happy. If that's the answer, don't be shameful of yourself. Just get to work.
Yeah. I think so. I think you know, kind of going along with that point, I hate the cliche of it, but like Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right.
But when you think about like just moving towards your goals or accomplishing something, sometimes it takes like that small thing every day. You know, if you want to lose weight, it takes, you know, counting your calories every day. It takes, you know, making sure you stop eating at a certain time and, and, you know, all these like little things, and then add it up over the course of a whole year. You know, there's these huge improvements. Even for us, it was just like, you know, not that where we are where we want to be, but, you know, it's a huge deal for us to have a space to record our podcast 100%. And cameras and, you know, lights and stuff like that. So, and that was just as simple as we're going to show up every week. Sometimes we're going to drive to LA. We're going to go to this thing for the sake of content. You know, we're going to watch this movie for the sake of content, stuff like that. And then, you know, it turned into this, but, you know, it's just about, you know, incrementally doing things on a consistent basis.
One thing I always say is, is watch your mouth. Like, and I say that not as in like, don't say cuss words, but like how you speak. Yeah. So literally just making the shift from I didn't do this to, well, this is what I did do. I don't like this to this is what I like. Right. Those types of modifications to your language matter. Yeah. Because then you can talk, how you talk to somebody, like the most important person to talk to respectfully is yourself.
Facts.
So even when we got the example of losing weight, don't sit there and tell yourself like, oh, I'm still this weight. It's like, no, well, I lost this amount of weight, which is a positive thing. And also don't look at, don't always basically enjoy the journey, as they say. Like celebrate your journey because it's the journey that gets you to the destination. So sometimes we're looking so far ahead. And that's another thing we talked about is being present. It's like we're looking so far ahead and you're saying, I want to lose 70 pounds and you've only lost 8 pounds and it's been a month. I've only lost 8 pounds. It's been a month. You're looking at what you haven't lost yet. You're like, man, I still got to lose another 62 pounds. Instead of just being like, man, I lost 8. When this year started, I didn't, like for the last few months, I had only been gaining weight.
100%. And that's important that you mentioned. I don't think you should speak about yourself in a disempowering way because your thoughts and words become things. Yeah. And you start subscribing to the bullshit that you tell yourself. So you can't be like, oh, man, I'm not that smart. Oh, I'm not that. I think Keith checked me one day on a podcast. It was basically,
I checked that nigga, cuz.
Yeah, his hair was nappy too. And he said, and he was like, I said something like, look, I'm not that smart, but this. And he was like, you got to stop doing that. Yeah. Like, because you start to believe it. And that could actually make you feel like you don't belong in certain conversations. And, you know, you might feel like you have imposter syndrome. There might be 4 people having a conversation that you could walk right over and get involved in. And you can include yourself in a real way, but you're so closed off because you don't feel like you're intelligent enough to talk to these people. Yeah. And that's based on you, though. That's based on you telling yourself these things. When in actuality, it's like, you know what? I'm a decently educated person, you know? Yeah. Did I dropped out of college? That doesn't make me dumb. I may not be completely formally educated, but I ain't no dumb nigga, okay? Yeah. I be knowing what I'm talking about. So there's that. But yeah, I hope you took something away from this conversation. We've been all over the place. But DJ and Keith definitely had more positive things to say. Mine's just a little, it was optimistic with a little sprinkle of pessimism in it.
It was just more gangster approach. Had a few more cuss words in it. A little more bass in the voice.
Yeah. Can't help it, man. I'm sorry. All right.
Wait. Before we move on, like we talked about it, but not on the podcast. What are some of the goals you guys have moving forward?
Oh, goals continue to be great. I think that what we're working on, and look, here's the thing. I'm looking at these incremental strides that we've made, right? And when it comes to the at the end of last year, we had a viral moment. We're still having one. We got over 700,000 views and over 80,000 something likes on a post, right?
That's
And
another 130 on my Facebook too.
What? 130?
Because you can share the reel on your on
How
Instagram,
many on there?
and it's like 130,000
On Facebook? What the fuck? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like, that's insane. 130,000 on Facebook? I don't know why I didn't see it.
Yeah, Facebook will be going crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that's the thing, man. Like, it took 5 years almost. It'll be 5 years we'll be doing this podcast in April to have a viral moment. And we never did this for the viral moment. The sole objective was to get this content to as many people as possible. But we never would have reached this point if we didn't do a podcast every fucking week for almost 5 years.
If we stopped, yeah.
We never, ever, ever, ever stopped. We never stopped, and we still haven't. Here's another week of more content for you guys, right? But my sole objective is to keep refining and getting better. My objective is to make money. My objective is to quit my fucking job. This is what I want to do for a living eventually, right? And it's not a matter of hating your job. You could like what you do or just, exist in what you do. But I love doing this shit. This is what I love to do. And I'm seeing other content creators make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not like it's some fake pipe dream. This shit's becoming more real as we go on.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers, hundreds of thousands of people on Facebook, hundreds of thousands of people on Instagram. Like, how much more confirmation do you need that you're great? You need to start believing it.
That's facts.
Yeah.
That's another thing. You can't just be like, oh, yeah, I have fun doing this. I think I'm going to do. No. Talk your shit. This is what you want to do? Then be about it and do it.
Yeah.
That's facts. What about you?
For me, some of my goals are just it's in the same conversation of growth, but I want to do things like learn new skills, like there's like editing software and stuff that I'm about to download for myself.
Okay.
That I'm gonna learn. I'm probably gonna learn a lot from Keith. He does a lot of these things for me now, but I want to learn how to do those things on my own. I'm going back to school. I used to be a person who said school wasn't for me. And for some people, it's really not. But I would just say it wasn't for me at the time. I think that what changed is me finding what my actual purpose is in life.
What's your major?
And so my major will be psychology, and then I'm going to minor or associate in communications. So, but the reason why I chose those is just because the things I want to do going forward or what I feel I've been called to do, in addition to comedy and things like that, line up with those two things. And the first time I was going to school, coming fresh out of high school, number one, I ended high school as a bad student. So going straight to college was a bad idea anyway. Because I hadn't established better habits. I was still in that same mindset. And then I was also only there because it's like, what else do I do? So if you're not there, well, for me, I wasn't there for a purpose. It was very hard to stay motivated.
Oh, of course.
So
too many distractions.
Yeah. So now that I have more clarity on what I see myself being in life, it'll be. I'm not gonna say it'd be easier, but it will be. I will have something to help me push through with that. And then as far as like entertainment, is just getting on stage, out of my own state more. I've been all over California, but I need to get to other places. I need to also continue to build our platform with myself and my wife's podcast as well. So those are the things I'll be focused on, and obviously more valuable time with my kids. So like,
awesome.
My kids getting off TikTok really. Like I'm gonna limit it a lot and start to do more like like I want to start doing activities at the house where like the other day we like had art night where we were drawing pictures and things like that. I want to have them get up in the house and we perform, have them tell me jokes or tell a story or sing a song, but like get them used to being up in front of people just to break the shyness or whatever that I grew up with. It's not even to get them to be comedians. They may never be that, but I want them to just be comfortable walking in. We got to know how to network and not be afraid. So that's one thing that I wish I had earlier was this ability to speak to people and not
trying to get them back into analog. I think that digital is taking over so much that, you know, TikTok, this, that. Back in the day, nigga, we was playing Uno.
Yeah, and I hate that games. I hate seeing my son scroll, hearing or seeing him scroll through TikTok, or like I just had to get on the other day because like we're like playing the board games on Christmas, and he's at the table, like we're playing apples to apples. He at the table, but still on his phone, and then it's his turn. It's like, oh, it's my turn. And I'm like, get off your phone, like be present, be with family, because this is not forever, and you're not learning anything. You see a kid on TikTok, they don't even watch complete videos. Just be like, scroll. That's sad. So like you're literally stuck being a robot just because you don't know what else to do. So that's one of my goals personally as a parent as well. But yeah, those are my goals.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And I feel like when I do all them things, I mean, we always all want more money, but as Eddie was just saying, you got to believe you're great already. Not to be arrogant, but I already know that about myself. I just feel like it's not until I do those things and really become disciplined with my time that I will start to reap the benefits financially of whatever greatness is already in us.
Yeah, for sure. I think when you're great at something, I don't think you should be shy about it. You don't got to be telling everybody and shit. Yeah. But you need to recognize when you're great at something. I think that's beneficial. Like, for example, Floyd Mayweather, great boxer. He should be proud that he's a great boxer. Yeah. Technically, you know, the best boxer ever. I mean, he can't read very well, but I mean, that's not something that's just not a strong suit, right?
He's an example of you only got to be great at one thing.
Facts. You got to humble yourself and read that goddamn Dr. Seuss book, Floyd. But beyond that, that guy's a great boxer. Yeah. You know, I'll not retract, but you said something about your son just swiping or whatever. And the sad thing about it is the fact that the attention span of these younger generation is so low. Yeah. It's just low, and they just swiping and swiping. And TikTok is really not a child-friendly application. They'll be swiping up, and all of a sudden some girl with a big old booty is twerking, clapping her butt cheeks. That's not okay.
Yeah. Or sometimes it'd be like bad, like the audio, they use the audio. Yeah. And it'd be like a scene from Friday or a scene about sex language, or something. That's what killed me. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, this is like in the midst of a gaming with Kev video or something like that.
Yeah, that's too much. The TikTok, and the thing about it is like they'll recommend the wrong stuff for you. When I first created a TikTok account, it was like suggestions. It was some chick with a big old booty, and then another one. I'm just like, I don't want to follow this fucking shit. Yeah, I don't. And it's like it's kind of like targeting in a way. And it can poison young people. And here's the issue. I'm glad that you do what you do with your kids, because there's a lot of our generation, right? I'm 37. You're going to be 30. He's 30. These adults that are in their 30s are also hooked on this shit. Yeah. So you got two different generations hooked on the internet. You know, it's like there's some teenage girl like, Mom, can you hurry up? But the mom too busy taking pictures of her ass, and she like 39. Yeah.
The problem is I'm having to go, and it's not so far, but I'm having to go a little backwards, and like he already hit, or they have already gotten to things that they like, and I'm having to go back and like be like, look, we're not doing that no more based on the changes in me. Like there was a time where I wasn't even like quote unquote woke to these certain things. And so as I grow, but luckily they like respect me enough or trust my word enough or follow me enough to where when I say like, hey, look, we're going to do this less because that thing is controlling or it can be dangerous and da-da-da. They just, okay, Dad, type stuff. But they also know I'm going to provide them with some other form of entertainment. Like I said, we're not going to I'm not going to have y'all sit in the room bored with nothing. It's going to be our responsibility as parents to get up and get active with you. Like make it to where you don't even realize you don't got your phone in your hand.
That's true. That's a good one. You better get them Uno cards.
Yeah. I think for me, it looks like definitely like more family stuff. I think that obviously we always gonna get together on like the holidays, but I think just making it a point to like go see my grandma or just, you know, pop up at somebody's house or just have a dinner with somebody, invite somebody over. Just those little simple things like throughout the year, in between like the holidays. Cause we always get to funerals or these things and be like, yo, like we got to do this more. And it just never happened. So really making it a point to like, you know, really be connected with everybody. And definitely like same, you know, with Eddie in terms of the podcast, like really at least having the podcast pay for itself. You know, obviously we pay the rent here and stuff like that, but just having the podcast be self-sufficient to where like, you know, whether it's the subscription fees or internet, you know, website, you know, Shopify, all these things, it just takes care of itself. And then, you know, from there we can move towards like actually earning an income from it. And then just like really being who we are, like who we say we are, like
100%.
Like, I was telling you the other day, like, you know, just the reservations I had about calling myself a filmmaker because I haven't necessarily made money as like, I don't have a movie on Netflix or all these other things. So sometimes when people ask me like, what do? I oftentimes say something else. But I think like going into 2023, like I really want to make a living as a filmmaker. Like I want to be able to put that on my resume and, you know, really say that confidently when someone asks me, you know, and then have IMDb credits or have like things that I've actually done that people can look at, you know. That's just, you know, obviously we have like short films and stuff that we've done, but something that is like, you know, at the magnitude where people recognize.
Not to cut you off, because I thought this earlier when you mentioned it, because you mentioned wanting to leave your job and let this be how you make your living. Like, I believe let's start saying that when somebody asks, even if somebody asks you, how do you make a living? However they frame the question, what do you do? How do you make a living? What do you do for work? I would already, don't even say I'm a truck driver. Just say, you know, I have this podcast that like, this is what I do. Like start to claim these things out loud. And it's not you lying. It's literally, I heard someone say that they would go as far as to like go into these high-end stores and try on a suit and walk around the whole store with the suit, still looking at other stuff, just to get used to what it feel like to wear that suit. And like you start living the life you want to live already. Like you literally practicing your future life. So I would say like you're a filmmaker already. You haven't made money from it, but have you made a film? Yes, whether it be a short film, whatever. I'm a filmmaker. Like our finances, the financial side of it doesn't dictate whether you're that thing or not.
Nah, it's facts. Even you look at people like, you know why Joe Budden is a podcaster? Because one day he woke up and said, nigga, I'm a podcaster. Like I got the Joe Budden Network, Joe Budden Podcast Network.
Before he made $1 from podcasting.
Exactly.
He was a podcaster.
Yeah. So we got to, you know, take that same motto and be like, no, I'm a podcaster. No, I'm a comedian. I'm a content creator. I'm a filmmaker. I'm an actor, whatever the case may be. Because if you don't say it about yourself, then, you know, ain't nobody else.
It's also like, what if I see you now and don't see you for 5 years, and then when I see you again, you're not even what you told me you were? Because one thing you know, 5 years from now, you guys will be doing this.
I get like in the future, you're moving towards that. So why am I telling you this is like a temp service? Like, I don't think niggas at the temp service that's just helping out at Walmart stocking or whatever is like, you know, and they goals is way out here.
I'll say this though. I think two things are true when he talked about IMDb credits and things of that nature. I think we tend to use those things as metrics when we really give a fuck. We're like, you know, I don't want to say I'm a filmmaker if I haven't done this or this, right? But there's somebody who created a film that was 15 minutes long and they're like, I make movies. You know what I mean? That's what I do. You know, and it's like the overly confident people sometimes do the least. But here's another thing. I think a parallel for what you mentioned in claiming things could be a person that's 400 pounds and they go in the store and they buy things 5 sizes too small. And they say, one day I'm going to fucking fit that shirt.
Yes.
Right? So you kind of got to claim this, right? You got to claim this type of shit.
I remember Desmond, my older brother, he had the 50 Cent G Unit tank top. Yeah. And he bought it like fresh. It was like super clean too, but he never wore it. He never actually wore it. But his goal was always like, once I get into shape, once I look like 50 Cent, I'm gonna finally wear it. he eventually got there maybe like 10, 12 years later, like to the shape that he wanted to.
And it was
it was already gone by then. But, just kind of to what you were saying, like, just kind of putting that.
He wore that motherfucker. He put it on before.
Really?
He did, the white one, and it had like the little stripes.
The stripes on it.
Yeah, he put it on. He didn't wear
not
it
in the shape he wanted.
No.
Yeah. But that was his goal.
By the time
by
the time he got in shape, it was dingy.
Yeah, it was. It had got bleached and stuff too, so it was done for. But no, it's kind of like putting that. They had like the donkey with the carrot out in front of you.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I look at those type of, like, calling myself a filmmaker requires me. I got to get up and write every day. Like, I got to go film content. I got to really make sure I'm studying, watching movies and stuff like that. Because when I just say like, oh, I work at a school or I have my business e-commerce or whatever, that it kind of it's an out. It's an out. Like, oh, okay, I don't have to really put myself out there. I don't have to write because I'm not a filmmaker.
And you only do those things for what? To fund your filmmaking career.
That's a fact.
So it's like these are things that I do, but who I am is a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And I think, like you mentioned Floyd Mayweather earlier, because you also mentioned like a guy will make one 15-minute movie and be like, I make movies. No, you made a movie, but that doesn't make you a filmmaker. The work you put in is what makes you a filmmaker. The work y'all put in is what make you podcasters. Like, y'all have been consistent for all these weeks in a row. This is what I do. This ain't no like fly by night type of thing.
No.
Even Floyd Mayweather being as arrogant as he is, I'm this arrogant because I know the work I put in.
100%.
It's not no like, man, I just fight good. No, I worked to fight this good.
I was thinking about that too. Like, there are people like the Floyd Mayweathers, the Muhammad Ali's,
Kobe Bryant,
Mike. These are people that never ever was like, I work at McDonald's but that was only a matter of them like, nigga, I'm going to the NBA or I'm going to the Olympics or I'm going to be the best boxer in the world. And I think that, like, if we kind of adopt that, that one track mind and like, this is what I'm going to be regardless of, I would just be curious to know when somebody that met Floyd and they didn't know who he was, or Muhammad Ali and didn't know who they were, it was like, hey, what do you do for a living? And, I would imagine probably early. Like, even you see like guys like Tyron, when he's in kindergarten, they ask him what he wants to be or, whatever the case may be. And he's like, I'm going to the NBA. And he ain't never had no real job. He goes straight from high school to Berkeley to, playing basketball and making a living from it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had an idea. I was going to say something. I just lost it.
A little brain fart.
Yeah. I was about to say something, and Keith was like, but the great thing about it, I'm like, God damn it. You fucked my memory up, Keith.
Yeah, my bad.
Shit.
My bad, yeah.
Yeah. But, no, I think whenever you don't say you're a filmmaker, too, or whatever it is, you almost feel like you slight yourself or you're knocking yourself down a peg. But the truth of the matter is like, this is what you want to do, Oh man, it's coming to me. What I was gonna say.
I'm coming.
Take your time, baby. Take your time.
Yeah. In regards to this content, this is what I was gonna say.
There we go, baby.
There we go. All right. Had to reboot my system. Running on fucking Windows XP over here. What I was gonna say is, now I've made it to the point where whenever we have instances of success or successful moments, viral moments, those viral moments don't really excite me. And I'm gonna explain to you why. At this point, I expect success because I've done the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a matter of, oh fuck, like we just mentioned, we got 130,000 on Facebook. I was like, oh fuck, I didn't know that. I wasn't like losing my mind over it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you do the work, you expect results, right?
Yeah.
So
that's
like,
facts.
So why the fuck would, I notice the people that are most crazy and excited about stuff, that's probably because they probably almost feel like they don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Like if we're doing this in the next 6 months and we get approached by Spotify and it's a 6-figure deal, I'm gonna be like, yo, I like that. That 6-figure number is great, but let's go talk to a lawyer and see if we could get a little more money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this is coming from a nigga that work a regular job. And people be like, you crazy. Don't argue with them people. Just sign it. No. Whenever you've done the work, you have the right. You have the right to expect success or to expect a certain amount of compensation.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even be able to keep going for 5 years or however many weeks or any of these things, or to even do what we do, pursue what we pursue. You wouldn't be able to do that without some type of vision.
100%.
And so if you got some type of vision, when these things are showing up, like, nigga, I seen that already. I seen it 5 years ago when I started. I knew this was coming. And I knew that y'all was going to offer me 6 figures, and I knew it wasn't going to be enough, because if y'all offering me 6, I'm worth
Probably
7.
100%.
And all that. Like,
Right.
y'all trying to get me while I'm low. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, like, you're not moved the same as somebody who, like, is shocked. I'm not shocked. I literally dreamed about this. So.
100%. I've had literal daydreams of, vivid daydreams of driving certain cars. And this is not like some status thing. It's just me looking into the future, living in certain houses, rubbing shoulders with certain people. And that's based on the belief that I have in myself, because at no time in my life did I ever think like that.
Yeah.
It didn't start until I started really believing in what I was doing.
Yeah.
And the more I started climbing towards things, I'm like, okay, this is good, but I can have way better.
Yeah.
Like this, we can do way better. And here's the biggest one. And this is no slight to anyone, but if you're a comedian or if you do podcasts or whatever the case, and you literally see people out there making millions of dollars, and and you don't want to shit on anyone, but you're like, I know we're doing equal, comparable work or better than that person.
We better than a lot of niggas.
I was gonna say
We better than a lot of niggas.
But-
And I'm not
but
gonna
let
say
me-
no names.
I'm gonna tell you the struggle. I'm gonna tell you the struggle for me as a comedian. Because on a podcast, you got to drop the episode. You got to look at the numbers.
Right.
You got to look at comments, whatever. As a comedian, I'm on stage with the people.
Yeah.
We getting the judgment from the same audience.
Yeah.
So I get a real life, real time, like, yo, he's not messing with me, but he's making like thousands of dollars more, 100. He got paid this much to be here tonight, and I might be performing for free. And it's not that you don't want them to have it, but it lets you know, like, hey, look,
I need to keep going.
as soon as I'm seen, it's over. Like, you start, you get real. So it is very hard to do that and look at someone and be like, man, I'm just as good as them, or I'm better than they are, in my opinion, whatever. It's hard to look at them without feeling like, it's like you don't want to be a hater, but you are looking at it like, man, look.
But when you get that person's backstory, oh yeah, I've been doing stand up for 27 years.
And you be like, man, I've been doing it for, bro, I'm barely getting on.
So it gives context to it. Like,
It's more
okay.
so the length of it.
And you got to
than
respect
how
that
talented they are.
the time they put in, and know that it was just their time.
Yeah, for sure.
Always
Yes.
be okay with it being somebody else's time. Because if you're envious, you're not gonna ever get your time.
Yeah,
There you
for
go.
Sure.
Yeah.
And a lot of, like, I think, going back to that, like, I would never, because there's content creators here in Bakersfield that are very successful. I would never want to, like, put any negative energy towards anybody or any sort of hate towards anybody that really like is appreciative of your work. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this nigga over here, he ain't even that funny, or he don't do this, or he don't do that. And in the background, they like, yo, they rocking with your stuff. They liking, commenting on your videos and stuff
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
why you feel dumb when you said that, and then they DM you like, man, love what you do.
Yeah.
Da, da, da. You'd be like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, you've been hating on him the whole
I
time.
didn't expect you to come here like this.
Yeah, I think the thing, I would say the one thing for me that, and this is something that I've gotten maybe the past 2 months, just like with this personal development and stuff that I've been doing, like just the confidence level is like at an all-time high to where like I genuinely feel like in whatever realm or whatever space, like I can walk in and I'm competitive, with anybody. So that's just like
Confidence.
the new energy.
I'll say this before we move on. Confidence is different when it's based in work. When you have done something for, bro, I don't even know how many hours we got. We probably got over 20,000 hours, right? So when you've done something for 20,000 hours, there is a different level of confidence. But if you're one of those people that base your confidence in just some outward appearance. Let's say you're attractive in some capacity. That's not real confidence. You didn't do any work to look like that. You just look like that from birth. But what type of work did you do? What kind of character development did you do to become who you are? That is confidence. Because I'm telling you right now, there's some people, man, that literally, there's like Drewski, for example. I've seen some people like, yo, that clip wasn't that funny. This nigga ain't even that funny. And it's like, I don't think that's for us to decide all the time. I've heard Drewski have some really funny clips. Other ones is kind of dry, but it was just his time.
Yeah. But I always think about it like overall, like we have done skits where we like, that one was cool. You know what I mean? We've done stuff that we like personally that was like, nigga, that's funny. I don't know why it only got like 500 views. But I think that the real testament is like, it's like when you talked about the time, like Drewski been doing it for so long. Xavier TV, they all been doing it for so long. There are some stuff that may not necessarily be funny, but I've told a bad joke before.
We all have.
And don't look at, like, let's say it's the internet guys. Some of them guys did get on and a month into making skits and being on social media, they blew up. But don't look at it like, man, they just was an overnight. You don't know what that dude went through in real life. For it to be his time. Like, literally, there's a time for all of us. Like, all of it, like, God has given us all the time for whatever we're going to be to happen for us. And like I said, as long as you're, like, being envious of somebody else, like, you might really be pushing your time back because it's like, man, show love and you're going to get some love.
You know, I'll say this too, and this is a testament to continue to keep doing what you're doing. And let me preface this statement with, you know, I'm not trying to determine what someone should have did with their life or whether they stopped doing content or kept doing content. So let me put that in the air now. But you know who would have been bigger than Drewski right now had they kept going? Brock Hayes.
Yeah.
Brock Hayes would have been Drewski right now had he kept doing content. That's how big he was getting. And it was progressive.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes, I don't know if everybody sees it within themselves. Love you, Brock, if you hear this. But
Brock is my guy.
Brock is a cool guy. But if that nigga kept creating content, especially from that time to now, with the way the internet is, you talk about the Ha Davis of the world, the Drewskis, Brock would have been right there, if not bigger than them.
Definitely bigger because he was doing that at a different time.
He was viral.
Early, like viral, early, super early.
World Star Hip Hop. That shit made it to World Star.
He was on MTV.
Yeah, he was a different.
Wow.
That Ice-T skit. Or
that was on MTV and was on Ridiculousness?
I don't know, but I know it was on.
And the demographic with, like, no disrespect to them other guys, but ain't no girls liking Drewski and all them type. Like, Brock really had.
Yeah.
He was like where girls would like him.
Right.
But then he could do music too. Right. But then he was legitimately funny to, like.
Right.
Like, he could be funny to hood dudes or you know quote unquote square dudes. Like,
right.
So his demographic would have been bigger. And then he could play all the, play sports and things like that.
That nigga was I was watching his highlight reel the other day. That nigga is like 6'3", 6'4", playing running back.
I know, I remember that.
Yeah,
he was playing running back.
So he definitely would have. But again, everybody got their own plan. It might be something else that he will end up doing or supposed. Because every time it might not even be on the internet, but every time he touched the internet, he gets some type of engagement.
But if it's something that he doesn't love it, then he needs to stay away from it.
Don't even do it. It don't bring him peace.
It's something. I don't know. I would have to. I'm gonna talk to him one day to really like, and not the tea. Like, I don't necessarily care for the story behind what happened, but more so like, yo, like what are you dealing with internally that is like preventing you from being? Because we don't really lose. Like, our dreams don't fade away like that generally. Like, something generally happens and then it's like, man, I just don't like the way I felt when I did that. And then you just kind of like quit it cold turkey. So I would just be curious, like, what does that look like for him as far as like, I am, the funniest, like, we're collectively like almost like the odd future of like comedy sketch, YouTube comedy
The thing
sketches.
is, money don't do it for everybody. Money or attention. Yeah. Sometimes you could be like, man, I don't really need. I'll go get regular 9-to-5 money and have peace of mind being able to walk my kids down the street or through the mall without being approached or worried about somebody. Like, you look, because you really do, especially in a small town like ours. You gotta look over your shoulder. Even if you're not messing with nobody, you spread nothing but positivity.
Yeah.
But if you borderline like, local famous, or you gotta worry about people hating on you. And that's really for every city. Yeah. It's never like the least safest place is your own city. Mm-hmm. So maybe that peace of mind for some people is just like, man, I'd rather just.
That's true, especially out here in Bakersfield. It's not like, back east or something. We ain't got to worry about natural disasters, but we do got to worry about, violence and STDs. That's about it.
Those natural disasters. We on the list. we be on the wrong list.
Yeah, we've been on this one topic or this one section for like over an hour now. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how the cookie crumbled, though.
It was important.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You got to bring in the new year the right way.
You got to bring it in. Mm-hmm. Happy New Year, guys. Love you. Switching gears. Southwest Airlines. Recently, Southwest Airlines, they laid a fucking egg, man. Recently, they had a system issue, and it caused people to be backed up. And here it is. Where we at? Oh, crap. Jesus Christ, where did it go? Did I send it to you?
Nah, I don't think so.
You see here. Jeez. Okay. Before I pull this up, so I don't have people sitting there waiting. Basically, what happened with Southwest Airlines recently is they had a bunch of cancellations that happened, and it was due to a system issue. Now, they have a very almost analog system that once you cancel a flight, you would have to contact a operator. Oh, shit. You got to contact an operator independently to reschedule or stick with that cancellation. But what ended up happening is the system completely crashed. The coding and everything was fucked up, and it canceled 70% of the flights. Mm-hmm. And initially, when upper management or whatever, I think it's not upper management, we call it the corporate people. Mm-hmm. When they addressed the issue, they stated that it was a weather problem, due to storms, but it was a lie. And it just basically completely fucked everybody, and people have been struggling to get back home. Mm-hmm. People have even gotten desperate enough to take a Greyhound across the country just so they could go home because they've been stranded at the fucking airport. Mm-hmm. And it all came from them not updating this. They're still running off fucking Windows XP. Mm-hmm. Like when the actual system, what happens is when
literally?
Like literally.
Okay.
Yeah. And what happens is with these newer systems, once you cancel the flight, it either reimburse you or it asks if you would like to reschedule it. Mm-hmm. But this one, you have to phone in an operator. So what ended up happening is when you got to phone an operator and the whole system crashes, everyone is overwhelmed and it backlogs all the calls. Mm-hmm. So a bunch of operators from Southwest are taking like an hour per person. Mm-hmm. And there are literally thousands and tens of thousands of people, maybe even more, that can't get home. Mm-hmm. They came down for the holidays and they are probably barely getting back now. They got stuck right around Christmas. And they didn't even get home to the new year. And some people said, you know what? I'm so desperate that I will literally take a Greyhound to LAX and then drive home from there.
You were saying something that there was a guy on TikTok that mentioned like I worked there and I had the code or something like that.
Yeah, basically there was a guy that did the coding for them and they fired him. He's like, he just was doing his job. He wanted to get a promotion and stuff. And they ended up terminating him. And he said like 2 days before it went down, he said, they're fucked. They don't know it. This is going to be terrible because I do the coding. It was my job and they fired me. Mm-hmm. And his one job literally affected all of Southwest. Mm-hmm. And the sad part about it is they talk about like at any job, you could be replaced, they could replace you. But the problem is when companies become too lenient on certain employees to do jobs, and they don't realize that they don't know how to do those jobs themselves.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might want to have the replacement already hired when you fire me. Don't fire me and then be looking. Yeah, now hiring. Yeah, you got a now hiring sign on the window.
Yeah, if you want me to come back and do my job, you're gonna have to give me more money and some head, because ain't no way I'm coming back after this fucking
some head in my contract.
Yeah, I need some head in my contract, Southwest.
Read the fine print.
Yeah. read the fine print and read the print in my gray sweats.
That's stupid.
The fine dick print. Read the fine dick.
Read the fine dick print.
That's crazy.
That's funny. I think sometimes like what that tells me is, I'm sure we've all experienced this on a certain level. Like sometimes your boss or the manager or the owner of the situation or the principal, whatever, they don't know all the nuances of what you really handle.
No.
You know, you might have the keys to the store or something. You go in there, you open up everything, turn the lights on, do all this and that. And they don't really know, you know, all that you handle. So by the time you leave the job, it's like, you know, you may even hire somebody in that position, but the person in that position is only doing what's in the guidelines of their job. But in reality, you was doing all kind of extra stuff. Like you was closing a store, you was handling customer service sometimes, or doing all this stuff. So by the time you get replaced, it's like
that's why you need to be okay with. If you feel like you got a certain level of value, go up there and ask for a raise. You feel me?
Facts.
And then when they don't give it to you, just somebody else wanted to pay me this. And then go home for like 2 weeks and then call them back, be like, how y'all doing? Y'all thought about that raise yet? Because I ain't took the other job yet.
Yeah. He mentioned that though. He said, whenever something like this happens and they want to get rid of you, he's like, don't panic. Don't tell them anything. Just leave it for the next Joe Blow. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, if you terminate me and I know that I've got something that's crucial to your company, you've already fired me. I don't have any reason to fucking tell you shit now, right? And he did that, and he put it on TikTok, and people have been sharing it over and over, and said, this is the guy they fired. And he said it 2 days before, and it fucking crashed. Yeah. And people are getting their luggage stolen. This is a clusterfuck. People have to pay for hotels, and they're barely going to get compensated now. So imagine this. Imagine most of Americans don't got a bunch of money on them, especially during the holidays. Mm-hmm. They had enough money to get on the flight, get where they needed to go, and then go back. But they had to pay for hotels and shit, and some people didn't have that money. So they've been sleeping at the airport for almost a week.
The most uncomfortable sleep, there's top two most uncomfortable sleeps. One is on an airplane, and number two is on an airplane, and then number one is at the airport. It's cold in there.
You ain't never been on a Greyhound, have you?
Nah, at least the Greyhound is like, the Greyhound is uncomfortable, and Greyhound might be top three. Because Greyhound, you be on there with niggas that got out of prison.
Yeah, and they stank.
Like, the unhoused people.
It smell like marinated dookie on that.
Smell like mayonnaise.
Or at a person house who got roaches.
Oh fuck!
That's number 4. That's number.
You be like,
I am not. I will stand up for. We're pulling an all nighter on our feet.
Yeah,
tonight.
Back sleep with the light on.
You ever been over somebody's house that had a bunch of roaches? And like everything you do is like you sit on the edge of the couch because you don't let the roaches to crawl on you.
That nigga DJ sent me the funniest picture. Him sitting in somebody's back seat, but it's like, that nigga was sitting so close to the door,
bro.
He had one cheek up the whole time.
The whole time.
What happened?
Man, the car was dirty.
And I couldn't. So like when I would go, like if somebody had roaches and I went to their house, as soon as I see a roach, bro, you gotta. If I ever went to your house and didn't sit down, that was why.
Right.
Man, you can have a seat. Nah, I'm straight, man. You know what? The doctor said I need to stand more.
Right. You know what's crazy is people, the dirtiest people. They're always the nicest too. Like, have a seat, man. Have a seat. It's cool. Hey, mi casa, su casa.
You want something to eat?
Right?
No.
You want something to eat? It's like, no, motherfucker. You have a roach infestation. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
I done seen people have roaches so bad that like the roaches getting the cereal while the box closed,
bro.
Before the box is even open.
You know somebody got a lot of roaches when the roaches just come out like.
Exactly. Like when they come out in the daytime.
They're like, I seen you at the door.
And them niggas answer the door.
Like, welcome in.
I went to the bathroom one time when the light came on before I got to.
Nah, they didn't turn the light on.
Them niggas was like, we got you.
You know how they had a dude in the bathroom that'll like spray you down.
That's
with
what I was gonna say. I tipped one of them niggas. Nigga tipped the roaches on the way out the.
Man, you know somebody, and I've seen this happen before too, because if you haven't always lived in the best places, then you kind of had a battle with roaches. But my thing is we fought the roaches and sprayed them and killed them.
Yeah,
Nah,
like
you gotta
control
go-
them.
yeah,
Control the
hand.
roaches.
Yeah.
We didn't just have roaches.
Some
just
niggas just
chilling.
living with them.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
people just say fuck it. They part of the family. No, not us. Right.
Yeah.
So the thing that's crazy is somebody got a gang of roaches when you go to school with a kid and they open their
Oh, my
backpack
Lord.
and a roach just start
Oh,
coming
I
out.
ain't never
Oh my
seen
gosh,
that.
I just got chills.
I'm
I haven't seen multiple roaches come out of backpack, but I've seen like a roach come out of a backpack.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
That's the most embarrassing thing for a kid. I feel looking back, you feel bad.
Yeah.
Not me, but when I'm like, man, get this roach nigga away from me, man.
It's one thing too. Like there's some people that like we was talking about that. Like when you battling with the roaches, that mean your house is fairly clean. It's just so happen that you may live in an apartment complex where they may not have spread.
It's
or
not your
sometimes
fault sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes the neighbor that's nasty
They got-
will
yeah.
move
Yeah.
out. And then the roach is like, man, we got to find some food. So they coming into your house. But like a lot of times, like you said, some of those people, you walk in and you just see like crumbs and stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
The
Y'all
roaches
just
be
dirty.
like, ain't no party like a West Coast party because a West Coast party don't stop. Yo, they showed this car that had hella roaches in it.
I
I seen it on Facebook.
On
Oh
Facebook.
my
Oh my God. It was like,
Nah, my boy Renee, his car had roaches.
no,
in
it didn't.
If your car got roaches,
car had
bruh, it's places, even people with roaches in their house.
Don't
If
get-
the
yeah.
roaches got to the car, you bad.
Yeah, you bad, man.
Even like in my mind, it used to be like, man, if you got 2 stories, it shouldn't be no roaches upstairs. But
Yeah.
but
Oh,
if they all
man.
over the whole house, because a lot of people will have roaches that only live in the kitchen, in the living room,
Wow.
or like they're limited. But if you have roaches in your whole house, it didn't got bad.
It ain't got bad. Yeah. If you see a straggler roach, it's like they done killed all these roaches and it's like a straggler roach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But if you go over somebody's house and a roach is just, I've seen this shit before, and hey, I need you guys to chime in if you've seen this. You ever been over somebody's house and a roach just crawl across the TV screen?
Nah,
I got a joke
ain't
about
never
that.
seen-
Nigga.
Yeah, I got a
don't
joke.
think I've ever seen
And
that.
the roach just, or here the worst one. Here the worst one. When you see a roach come out and it's moving and it just stop.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you?
like I don't see you.
Yeah.
If I be still, I'm invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Because
like,
if I keep running, he gonna step on me.
if
Yeah.
I see a roach in somebody's house, I kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, I seen a roach. I'm not judging you, man.
I don't.
Yeah.
I was too. Last time I was in somebody's house with roaches, I was too immature to point out the roach or to kill it. I just act like
Use that
we just
right
probably both act like we don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, nigga, it's on the screen. We both see it, but I don't want to be like, nigga, you got roaches. And you
Now,
don't wanna
last
be
time
like,
I told somebody that, I was like, hey, man, I said it was a bug. I think it was a roach. And their house was really clean. But I was like, hey, I think it was like a bug or something that crawled under your bed. He was like, yeah, this game is crazy, man. The Lakers just won. Like, nigga, you're not gonna acknowledge what I just told you.
That was a roach, nigga. You just trying to change it to the Lakers?
That nigga know
LeBron ain't got nothing to do with them roaches that's in your bed, nigga.
he
You seen
know that roach. Oh, that's Ronald. Talking about Ronald? Oh yeah, he be here all the time.
Oh man, no, it'd be like this, like
Ronnie
hey,
Roach.
Hey, I think I seen a bug under your bed. Kobe just scored 60, bro. Kobe just scored 60, bro. It's his
like-
last game ever. He'd be like,
2016. This is ESPN Classic.
I'm not talking about Kobe. I'm talking about Roachy. This nigga-
Yeah, that's,
Roachy Bryant? That was crazy.
Oh man. Oh, I ain't talking about the Lakers. I'm talking about a raid can. Spray these goddamn roaches down.
That is wild.
Raid. You said the Raiders? Boxing. You said Freddie Roach? Yeah, I love Freddie Roach.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Wrestling.
man.
You talking about
Man, that's,
Roddy Roachy Piper?
if you've ever been on,
The roach?
Stone Roach Steve Austin?
if you ever been over
Can you
some,
smell what the roach is cooking?
the roach says,
What you gonna do, brother, when Roachamania runs?
Roachamania. Oh no, Roachamania. That's the name of the podcast, Roachamania. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh man. Roach Mysterio.
The big roach.
Oh, remember that song with Big Show? Well,
Yeah.
It's the big roach. Dead roach walking. The Undertaker. Dead roach walking.
Man.
Oh man, are you having a problem with roaches?
Mm-hmm.
Call 1-800-ROACH.
That's funny.
And you know, my thing is, it's like it's a thing. I think that some people have roaches to the point where you should be a little judgmental, because it's like you can't even cohabitate with other people when you have that many roaches.
Yeah.
I've been over somebody's house before, and I was just sitting on the floor. I don't know what I was doing, laying there or watching a game or playing a game or something. It's like it's such a violating feeling when a roach crawls on you.
Oh yeah.
And it's like you just chilling, and it's like, and then
I
it
ain't
goes like, oh
I
shit.
ain't had one crawling because I ain't sitting down.
You stay.
I really will stand up at your house the whole time.
Oh,
and can't wait. Y'all want to go stand outside? I'm like, but I would, and it's been some of the closest people to me.
Yeah.
And I just be like, bro, I can't spend the night, dog.
Is that DJ telling them to come in here and say hi? You go in the kitchen, they you know somebody, they earn roaches when you go in their house and like the stove is like got dried up food and it's all super dirty.
Yeah.
And then the roach is just like, yeah.
Eating good.
Eating good. Mm-hmm. What's the commercial? Eating good in the neighborhood.
The two foods I picture at roach people houses is open cereal and pizza. I don't know
For
why.
sure, a pizza box.
It's always a pizza box at
pizza
roach
box.
houses.
Nah, nigga, it's oatmeal.
Oatmeal, like oatmeal.
Like oatmeal.
It'd be like some old dried oatmeal.
Yeah.
And the roaches be fucking that shit up.
I for sure seen like a roach. Like you turn the like maybe you might have left the pizza box overnight and then you flick the light on and they just like, but it's like a pizza box on
Yeah.
the stove.
Yo, we
somewhere.
started this out about Southwest Airlines. That's the hilarious thing.
South Roach Airlines.
It ain't much else to say about this, but what I will say, okay, DJ got to get out of here.
DJ about to dip right now.
Yeah, I gotta go,
bye
y'all.
to the peoples.
Hey,
This has
man.
been a great episode, by the way.
We
This
have-
has been one of my favorites.
We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thanks
you know what I'm
for coming
saying.
by, man.
His wife is dragging him away from us, man. All right, man. Hey,
All right, bro.
Hey, God bless you, man. You be safe, bro.
All right.
You and the wife. Yeah. With Southwest, I think there's been some flights that had roaches on them, though.
Really?
I think it's like a thing, like a legit thing that some places have had roaches on. Well, I mean, where there's people, there's roaches. Mm-hmm. That's just a thing.
It's people, but also like just roaches are looking for something to eat, pretty much.
Yeah.
So where there's people, there's food. Where there's food, there's people that like to leave crumbs around and stuff like that. That was like the most like when we when we had roaches in the crib, we had to like reverse engineer like where it came from. Mm-hmm. Like what I was telling you earlier, it either came from a neighbor house that just moved out. We'd be like, okay, they just moved out. I know they was a little bit dirty over there. They left trash outside their front door. That's probably what happened. Or it was like, hey, we got to be on point. Wash them dishes. Don't leave no dishes
Don't
in the
leave nothing
sink.
out.
Don't leave. Make sure we take the trash out. And then you just had to like get militant about it.
Yeah, get a couple roach bombs, let the motherfuckers off, and then come back and open the windows later.
Yeah, roach motels.
Yeah, there ain't nothing. That roaches that's got to be the biggest cock block ever. If you say you chilling at the house, you have a young lady over, she's relaxing. You guys it's headed towards something very sexual, and all of a sudden a couple roaches just come out.
Yeah.
I don't think that girl's gonna have sex anymore.
Nah, getting cock blocked by a cockroach is wild. That's facts.
Oh man,
That's just dry up some pussy right there.
yeah. Imagine you hitting from the back and she see the roaches. You're like, this dick ain't that good anyways. Let me get out of here. Let me put my panties back on.
Mid stroke, like
She was like, my friend calling me. I gotta give her a ride.
My Uber outside.
But if you slanging some good dick and she see the roaches, she'd be like, I'll just kill them roaches later.
That's a true testament to how good your dick is. If a roach walk by or run by and she stop or she make up an excuse to leave, it wasn't that good.
Yeah, she starts saying, if a woman don't mind insects, then that means you're doing
slanging it for sure.
That means you're doing it, man.
Yeah.
You want to test that theory? Just get a couple fake roaches and put them around there.
Yeah.
And be hitting it from the back. She's like, oh no, I don't care if they fake or real. I gotta get out of here. You were like, dang.
She might kill it on the way by. Like, oh my God.
Some people, what's funny? is you see some people freak out with roaches, and you be like, "Girl, stop it! I know you grew up with roaches."
Yeah, that was my, like what I was telling you the story. Right? That was my energy. Like I'm not coming from a place of judgment, because I know one you could have. I seen Lil Wayne. He was on like MTV Cribs, and he had a roach laying on his thing, and he probably got a maid. And
Wait, what?
Yeah, he had a roach, like a dead roach. You know, the roaches be on their back. The roaches being missionary when you see them.
Why do roaches die like that? They die like this. They just die. Oh man.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just laying on his
Roaches got the most dramatic death. They die like a novella.
Oh my God. What's more dramatic? How Ricky died in Boys in the Hood, or how Roach died?
Roaches, they be doing backflips and shit. You spray them with some Raid, they're like, oh shit.
That's wild. That's for sure. Roaches be acting.
I think the nastiest roach I've seen is when a roach is like about to give birth and they got like extra shit on them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man. The big ass roaches down them is, I don't even know if those are roaches. They call them water bugs.
Oh, the water bugs.
But it's just like a super roach.
Yeah. At the apartment we used to live in, if you came in at a certain time of night, they just be crawling up the walls.
Oh man, they fucking
big
huge.
old ones like this big.
I seen one roach so big, and over where I used to live, I had them there too, them big massive ones. But I think I was coming from your mom's one night. It's like, I think it was me and Desmond. I don't know if it was Desmond. But I seen a roach so big on the wall, it looked like a TV remote.
No, you didn't.
I was like, God damn. And then it flew off. It's like, what kind of fucking roach is this, man?
That mug, yeah. Those is the ones when you kill them, it got like a crunch to it.
Yeah, when you step in, it's like, gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
That roach was paying rent in one of them apartments, man.
God damn.
That motherfucking roach was smoking a cigarette. That's how big he was.
The roaches is fine. I can't deal with people that's like that. Like it's just that's the norm for them. Like they just become accustomed to like roaches being around. When you get to that point, it's like you a lost cause.
It's just uncleanliness at that point. If you're a clean person and you got roaches, it's probably because you're a neighbor.
Yeah.
That's all. You know, but then you also, it's certain things you could do to keep them out your house, like covering your outlets.
Yeah, we definitely started doing that because they, once we learned that they crawling through outlets, and your apartment wall is connected to the next wall. So whenever, like we were saying, whenever they move out, or their food is gone, dried up in there, they looking for the next. Yeah,
because all the outlet is just like it's a wall, then it's the outlet, and I think it's a gap where they could go through the holes, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, man, nah. Just put a little tape over them or something.
Yeah, put some tape over
Spray that motherfucker, put some tape, because you do not want a cockroach cock blocking you, man.
Yeah.
You know, you've been waiting to get that girl for, a couple months, and then she's over there, she's relaxed. Y'all been drinking, hanging out, and then all of a sudden, just the roaches just come out the fucking, out the outlet.
Thank God that never happened to me.
And now she telling them like, do you know Richard? You're like, yeah, I know Richard. He got roaches. Like we was talking and then I just seen the roaches and I just made up a lie, girl, because I wasn't gonna be. He ain't treat me like that.
Yeah, but he picked me up too, and I had to catch an Uber home.
I had to catch an Uber because I had to get away from roaches. What's funny though is if you're dealing with it, and I don't want to make this a racial thing, but if you're dealing with, especially if you know her background, like maybe she probably grew up in a rougher neighborhood or didn't grow up very. If you're dealing with a black or a Mexican girl, this is not their first rodeo with roaches.
Yeah, for sure.
This is not their first rodeo.
We done all had roaches.
If you messing with a black or a Mexican girl that grew up on the east side of Bakersfield, they didn't have some roaches. At one point in their life, they didn't have some roaches in the house. So they know all about the roaches. If they be like, oh my God, a roach. It's like, girl, shut up. You know damn well your mom and your grandma and them had roaches.
For sure had roaches. Had real bad, like niggas had real battles with roaches.
Oh yeah,
like especially like when you have that the roach on a rare occasion, and you just don't want it, because sometimes a roach can be like hanging out. You know, if you don't kill it right away, or sometimes they'll sneak behind the fridge or all this stuff.
Oh
and
man,
like, God dang, I didn't get to it. But it might be a 2-3 day battle with a roach, every night.
You ever try to kill a roach and they do a juke move on you?
I never got. I might have got juked a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
That motherfucker did a release like a wide receiver.
Yeah, because you trying to like swipe at it, and that mug like hitting you with the Reggie Bush, like I'm like doing the shoulder roll.
That's crazy. Floyd Roachweather. Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't think we got anything else on that topic, man. And I feel bad that we, we kind of just turned into a Roach Fest conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, Southwest, they fucked their employees by not updating the system. Mm-hmm. They overwhelmed them with calls and customer complaints.
Yeah.
And they're still rectifying the problem now. Uh-huh. What I would say to you guys is do not take Southwest until they update those systems. They got luggage theft going on and shit right now. So yeah, it's bad. And I just pray for those people, man, that dealt with that huge inconvenience. But yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? Like really bringing it back to what we originally talked about. It was like, we talked about it before. Sometimes people don't really take advantage of opportunities.
Right.
And I think that when you're a business like Southwest Airlines or, any huge business like that, and you're just very, not very mindful of the small details, like these are the type of things that happen. But it's a person that really has like a great product and they may be struggling to make ends meet or, struggling with sales and, they not getting bailed out by the government and they not, they not getting a second chance. Because after this boils over, like the stock price probably going to fall a little bit.
But they walk scot-free.
Yeah, and then in 2-3 years from now, this is going to be, far in the past. But I just feel like there's a lot. I haven't watched it, but there's a couple documentaries on Boeing and a couple other like airlines where I don't know if did you see that one? I think it was a documentary on Netflix or something about Boeing, and I don't know exactly, but they were talking about how the certain flaws in the airplanes and stuff like that. And, yeah, but I didn't watch it. I'm just hearing this from other people talking about it, but. You just see it all the time. Like these huge companies, they killing people, they costing people money, all these things, and then in a year, 12 months, 24 months, everything is all good again. So,
yeah, because they're gonna get bailed out again. Mm-hmm. But if let's say I had a small fleet, right? Let's say I bought a couple planes, I own like 10 planes. Mm-hmm. If I did the same thing, that probably would kill my whole company.
For sure, that's like the scale of it. You as a small business owner, you just don't have the luxury of screwing up that.
And I also seen like there's a rate when it comes to like canceling flights, and I think the other companies were like 5 or 6%, but Southwest was 60%.
God dang,
these motherfuckers are after your money, and it proves that they're after your money. This is the sign. You just got to follow the money. The percentage rate for cancellations, in addition to the fact that they got that old system. And it's basically they rather flood their employees and not update the system than and just take all the money from people than update it and actually have a system that's up to date. Now they cost themselves more money trying to steal money.
Run. Yeah.
In the long run.
I think we talked about that, like about, fixing problems before
they happen.
Yeah, before they happen. Like, your tires might be starting to get bald, swap them out before it costs you, an accident on the freeway or something like that.
Yeah, the whole idea of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, that's bullshit. I think that you have to fix things before they break.
Yeah.
Like that goes with anything. If you have a car and it's an older vehicle, just do proper maintenance and change the alternator and the belt and, the battery and the coolant and the hoses. And when you do these things on time, you maintain the vehicle. It's no different than a marriage or a relationship.
Yeah.
You don't say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But then all of a sudden it ends in divorce. You could have fixed that shit.
You could. Across the board, like even with the podcast, it would have been cool for us to just sit in Eddie's living room and, thug out, content every week. And we had a few people listening on SoundCloud and stuff like that. But we constantly was looking for things. We got this space, we got more equipment. We got mics. We on camera now. In the latest edition, adding DJ, as a kind of a third mic to our podcast, 100%. Like, just constantly thinking of ways to, to improve on what we're doing. And that's like, it wasn't broke. You know what I mean? But we still found ways to keep improving. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. You gotta do that. All right. Well, switching gears. Let's close it with this one, man.
Okay.
Meg Thee Stallion. That case with Tory Lanez. We all know about the infamous Tory and Meg Thee Stallion case. And let me go over here. Here's what to know about Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion.
Wait, we haven't potted since the verdict, huh?
No.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
because it was
only been a
literally the
week.
next day.
Yes.
It was on that Monday after we pot.
Yes.
After we potted, yeah.
And actually, the last podcast was on Thursday. We did it.
Oh, we did it early. Yeah,
Did it early.
I forgot about that.
Had we did it on Sunday, we would have caught it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it happened Friday.
Got you.
All right. Here's what to know about Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Mr. Lanez was convicted of 3 felony counts after shooting Megan Thee Stallion in 2020. The case previously played out on social media and in music released by rappers. Los Angeles, when Megan Thee Stallion, the Grammy-winning rapper, took the stand this month during an assault trial against the rapper Tory Lanez. She testified that she received death threats on social media and still had nerve damage after he shot her feet in the wake of an argument 2 years ago. On Friday, a jury found Mr. Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, guilty on 3 felony counts, including assault with a semi-automatic handgun. He faces more than 20 years in prison and could be deported. Before the trial case played out, social media and music released by both rappers on an album released in 2020, more than 2 months after the encounter. Mr. Lanez rebuted Megan Thee Stallion account. She has defended herself on Instagram in interviews and with her own defiant track. Let's see. That's not that important. Let me go down a little bit more. Well, let's see here. On December 13th, Megan Thee Stallion largely reiterated that she had told reporters and recounted on social media about the encounter, testifying that she had initially misrepresented the events of that night to the police because tensions were higher after the murder of George Floyd, and she was afraid of how they would respond. I think that's bullshit. I didn't want to talk to officers because I didn't want to be a snitch, she testified. That's dumb. If you get shot, you need to tell somebody. Megan Thee Stallion also testified.
Do your mic sound a little weird?
I don't know. It kind of sounds a little bit off now.
It sounded a little lower, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me, though? Can you hear me?
I could hear you. It just kind of like the sound quality seemed like it dropped.
Might be time to replace these mics, man.
Yeah.
Might be time. Is it sounding weird is it like dropping on there?
Yeah, the actual sound waves are getting a little thinner.
Oh no. I'm beating this mic up. I'm talking in this mic from the back.
Keep talking.
Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All
you want to grab DJ's mic and just so we could keep rolling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to just grab it and pull it over here?
Yeah, I'll grab it right now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey, this is how it's just me and Eddie in here, man.
Yeah.
Like this is like it takes a lot, you know.
It's a 2-man show, man.
Yeah, man.
2-man show. This mic starts fucking up, but I need you guys to hear me.
No, that's facts, especially with the topic.
Yep, hold on 1 second, guys. We want to give you some dead air. Move this shit over here. You can just hand me the whole shit.
Well, you just put the pop filter on here.
Oh.
I just took because he has the pop screen. So yeah, just do that right here.
Hey. Oh, fuck. Yeah, this sounds way better. Yeah, this sounds way better, man. You guys can hear me? America, can you hear me? America. Man, this mic stand. We're gonna have to put some more money into this shit, man, because this mic stand's starting to get a little wonky. It's a little loose too.
That's just a different one. That one is. I think that one was from Guitar Center.
Really? Good morning, USA.
Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, this shit's fucking hanging. Yeah. Let me go ahead and open this article back up with the Megan Thee Stallion story. Megan Thee Stallion also testified that about how the fallout from the encounter has made her depressed and hindered her career. She said that she was a private person who spoke out who spoke out to defend her name. She's not a private person at all. And that
I seen her whole ass before.
yeah, she didn't twerk, and them ass cheeks is not private. Had been a target of abusive comments on social media because Tory Lanez came out and told so many lies about me and making all a sex scandal. People don't want to touch me. She's what? She said it feels like I'm a sick bird. Wow, that's a weird analogy. I'll say this, right? I don't want to get into all the riffraff, but what I will say is this: you will never catch me defending Tory Lanez, and that's because as a man, you were literally on trial for shooting a woman. I'm going to let the legal system determine how innocent or guilty you are. I'm not going to be trying to defend you, brother. But I do know Megan Thee Stallion, even though certain things she said may sound like a lie or they were a lie or whatever, Megan is a victim, okay? Megan is a victim, and she's a victim of a crime, and she deserves the right to have justice and have her day in court. So beyond that, I don't really have much. I'm not super invested in this shit. But what I don't like is this, though. I think that what's going to happen is not only Megan being a woman, but Megan being a black woman, there's going to be an influx of fake support for her. So they're gonna literally turn Megan Thee Stallion into like she's fucking Michelle Obama, right? So there's going to be a bunch of support groups and people interviewing her and giving her movie roles and all of this, and it's like, hey, that's fine and dandy, but it's not organic. In addition to the fact that you as a person are complicit in your own demise.
Yeah.
Right? When it came down to Brittany Griner, when she got arrested and they wanted to give her 10 years, and she eventually got traded for another prisoner, right? Even though I felt it was OD that they wanted to give her 10 years, I can't determine what someone else's legal system is too much or too much or too little. But it is true that she was complicit in that deal in which she was about to do 10 years. What we need to stop doing is turning people into these angels when they are involved in stupid shit. Like Megan Thee Stallion is the same artist that will talk about how she don't need no nigga and this and that, blah, blah, blah. But you got played by a 5'3" nigga with a fucked up hairline that shot you. Like, that's wild. That's wild. That's not something that, and even with that, she is still a victim. But my only problem with the extremely progressive media and people is they like to take people like this and turn them into some super innocent, like, beacon of like empowerment. You was hanging around a 5'3" nigga with an ego that shot you.
Yeah.
Like, you have to understand the company that we keep a lot of times can get us in trouble. It's a lot of dudes that be like, yo, I like these toxic girls. They got to be toxic. But when she stabbed you in the chest.
I like a girl with a little bit of attitude.
Yeah, like a girl with a little bit of attitude. But when she stabs you in the chest, you like, man, she's crazy. Motherfucker, you're complicit in it because you were just like that person. That's the point I'm trying to get across. I'm not trying to take away the fact that she's a victim.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that there are so many people in America that will be like, I can't believe she stabbed me. And it's like, bro, what the fuck did you think would be the end result of that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think overall we got to be mindful of the company we keep.
100%.
And I think, sometimes in relationships, you got to be very wary of those type of behaviors, because there's a topic that, there's a situation happened in Bakersfield here where, two people were fighting over a girl and they ended up, it was a double homicide.
They shot each other to death.
Yeah. And
Christmas Eve.
Yeah. So now their family has to deal with that. And, this is people, we have like mutual friends and stuff like that. And, people have to deal with that, the ramifications of that. But a lot of it is just the company you keep. And, I think that, there's always going to be arguments and disagreements in relationships. But, if it starts to get to a space where there's disrespect and there's, weapons being pulled on each other and domestic violence and stuff like that, and I'm speaking from like having firsthand experience. Like my cousin is my cousin was the same age as me. He that I grew up with, he was a victim of domestic violence, in the same capacity, like in a toxic relationship with multiple, run-ins with the police officers due to, having arguments with his baby mom. So like, I just tell anybody that's dealing with this type of situation, like, this is not small potatoes. Like, this is real life. Like, it's so much better to just get out of those situations and trying to, make it work for the sake of the kid, or, to stand in those things, or even saying that, like, I'm attracted to a toxic women. That's stupid. That's just like stupid. Yeah. But bringing it back to the actual case, because we never really got to talk about the case, because like we said, we recorded on Thursday. Like, a lot of people had this idea that first of all, it's not Tory Lanez versus Meg Thee Stallion. It's actually, I forget what the actual name of the case is, but it's the state versus Tory Lanez. The state, due to a certain amount of evidence that they had, they put Tory and arrested Tory and put him on trial and stuff like that. It's not really, I think people just got this idea that it was really about Meg Thee Stallion versus Tory Lanez. And, going back to like some of there was 3 things that he was charged with. Eddie listed them earlier, but one of them was assault with a firearm. Right. And I'm reading this article just so people know. And I don't, different states have different things, but right here it says,
California don't play that shit.
Yeah, for sure. It says California law defines assault in Penal Code 240 PC as an unlawful attempt to commit a violent injury on someone, coupled with the present ability to do so. An assault can occur even if no one is actually injured. And then it says, here are some examples of people who might be charged under California's assault with the firearm law. A man who is angry with his ex-wife is seeing another man, confronts her outside of her apartment and points a gun at her. That can be labeled as assault. During an argument over a parking space, a woman retrieves a rifle from the trunk of her car and waves it at the person she is arguing with. You can be charged with assault. After losing at a pool game in a bar, a man goes out to his car, comes back with a handgun, and tries to use it to club the other person over the head.
That's assault.
Yeah.
So a deadly weapon.
So these are in terms of what Tory Lanez did, they only found bullet fragments in her foot, but whether it's him waving a gun, whether, who knows what the conversation looked like, he could just be threatening her. I'll shoot you if you keep talking. Any of those things are like grounds for him to get, convicted of assault. So I think that's, and shout out to Joe Budden podcast. They really brought it full circle. Cause when I was listening to it, us just being casual people and not really, doing the research and not really following the case, we looking at it like, oh, it's Meg Thee Stallion versus Tory Lanez, and they trying to figure out whether he shot her or not. It don't matter if he shot her or not. It don't matter if the bullet ricocheted, whatever the case.
California law determined it.
Just for him having the gun, one, having an unregistered firearm, 2, having it in his possession, and him just brandishing the gun.
And
that's
him not even being from America,
not even being a citizen. Yeah. So that was enough for him. That's why they took it to trial. They probably was like, this is easy.
This is too much, man.
And that's what happens. Like, sometimes it be certain situations where, especially at your job, you just know more than everybody else. Like, with certain situations, like when the dude, I think he might have been in Denver or something like that. He killed all kind of people because he was driving the truck recklessly, and he lost his brakes and he didn't go off on the
man. Yeah. He didn't
but in that situation, I'm sure you was like, I just know more than the public, because it's people like, man, he shouldn't be this and he shouldn't get this amount of time. But you like, yo, we got this type of information when we get our CDLs, and we learn how to do this, and we know where to get off. And if I've done this, I've experienced this. But same thing with the court case. I'm sure the lawyers were like, yo, this is easy. Like, I don't know. Twitter, y'all can have y'all day with it, but I already know he going to prison. So.
Yeah, innocent people died due to the driver's ineptitude. So it's like, regardless, people died, and the dude was in there crying, begging, please. But it's like, if you don't have the expertise or you haven't been properly trained, man, you're going to kill somebody. In regards, let's not get off of this, but in regards to Tory Lanez, the fact that you would even shoot around women, and you're just a coward. And I don't want to say anything about height, because I think that enough men that are not very tall, they get beat down by society, bro. They do. And I've heard women chastise men that are short, like that's below 6 foot energy and all of this, and it's just like it's not right. But I will say this: I think Tory Lanez had a Napoleon complex, and I think that his insecurities are so wild that he'll pull out a gun and start shooting around women. And in his mind, he was probably shooting to scare her or shoot this. I don't know. But I think that when somebody is that little, they always have to prove that they're a man. And they always have to, especially a man like that will buy a fake hairline. This guy's not comfortable being himself. So you imagine what type of like anger, not to mention while he in Ice on Joe Budden podcast made an amazing point. He said, why, if you know you're facing probably 20 years, why aren't you a good Samaritan? You're getting into it with fucking August Alsina. Yeah. You're looking to assault or fight him and while you're fighting a 20-year case. I mean, a 20-year potential sentence. And he said, you should be a model fucking citizen. But this speaks volumes of his lack of self-control. The fact that
he can't help it.
He can't help it.
Yeah,
there was a video a long time ago where it was a homeless guy, and I guess the homeless guy had a pair of jeans or something on that was Tory Lanez brand. He was like, hey, come here real quick. And the homeless dude walked away. He's like, man, this motherfucker, man. He was getting mad at the homeless guy for not wanting to come to him. But it's like, dude, leave the dude the fuck alone. But it just shows you what type of anger and problems, even on the Breakfast Club. Like when you pay attention to people, you start, I'm not saying just from little instances, you know their whole character, but you definitely get a tone of who a person is.
When you really listening to
when you really listening, you get a tone of who that person is. If you pay attention to things they say, what they post on social media, things like that. I'm not saying you know their whole existence, but you get a fucking tone of who they are. And with him, he comes off as a person who cannot control his behavior. Yeah. And especially him drinking. I know some people that are already like that, but when they drink, they are unbearable.
That's what he said in the jail call.
Yeah, the leak phone call.
Yeah, he's like, man, you know, I'm not normally like this. You know, when I came in, they blitzed me. They gave me 5 shots right off the rip.
Shut up.
Like it was just alcohol. Like I think like I don't know. We got to take responsibility. But one thing that I will say is like I think that there's power in just owning up to something you did, right?
Right.
So when you hear Tory Lanez on the call, like essentially blame his actions on alcohol, that's like, to me, that's not the makeup of somebody that's like really taking responsibility for, or just that's like, I think me and a man is just taking responsibility for the things that you do. And what I realized in some of the other conversations around, he went on Instagram Live or something like that, and he was talking about the case.
Right.
He was like sitting in his kitchen or something like that. And a lot of his conversation was centered around what the character flaws of Meg Thee Stallion. You know, like, oh, you know, how does she don't got no exit wound. How did I shoot her? You know, Meg Thee Stallion is a person, she lost her grandma. So, you know, she's the type of person that, you know, she surrounds herself with a bunch of people to feel love and all this stuff. Like, just kind of like beating down her character as to why she would lie or she would make up this story only to, you know, however, 2 years later, you know, find out like, who knows if you actually physically like put a bullet through her foot, but all the other stuff is true. You know, in terms of what they actually accused you of, all that stuff is true.
It's
like
true.
People, they got the shots on the ring gap, and the person seen you physically, and everybody in the car, you know, accounted for.
He's done.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing about it, he has not made enough impact in music for people to give a fuck about him in 20 years. So he's done. He literally, you know what's crazy? And we talk about this all the time. People who make it in music, whatever it is, and they squander the opportunity.
Yeah.
Imagine this. In the next year and a half, me and Keith get 6-figure deal, whatever the case. Do you think I'm going to be fucking with toxic women? Fuck no. Because
shooting at women?
Yeah, no, not even shooting at women, but just dealing with anybody who has the ability to be toxic is bad for business.
But would you even be in a scenario where you potentially having sex with have had or have attempting to have sex with 3 people in the same party?
No. Fuck
Where
no.
none of them know.
Right. So it's like Tory's just a piece of shit. Right? And they can't attack Megan's character. Megan, to me, Megan is him. You know, they're both not very great. Right? Because here's the thing. Megan's hanging out with her friend Kelsey, who was also fucking Tory Lanez. So it's like, y'all all hanging out with this dude that y'all both fucking on. It just shows the quality of people that you surround yourself with. You don't even have real friends. You tripping over a 5'3" nigga that's trying to fuck Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, like, this is terrible. This is not a good look.
Yeah.
And mind you, I just want you guys to hear me out. This is why it's important to never look to celebrities to be like these role models. There are so many women that be like, Meg Thee Stallion is female empowerment. No, she not. She another one of these dumbass girls that's out here fucking a nigga 5'3" and getting shot by him. Find a better role model. Find a better role model. That she ain't it. Go find another one. I'm just keeping it real. Look, Tory Lanez. Look, I'm all for equality. So when I'm speaking on women, I'm speaking on this woman, not women in general. I'm just saying that they put this progressive blanket on people like Meg Thee Stallion, and she's not somebody you need to be looking after. She's not a great role model. Maybe she's not trying to be, right? This is one thing that I did not like. They said, you know what, you shouldn't be bringing up, this is what they do to women. They try to shoot them down a peg and bring up their sexual history. And during the case, let me be clear when I say this. I don't think a woman should be outed for who she slept with. But let me be very clear. It is very important to the case to know if she fucked Tory Lanez or not. That's very important.
Yeah.
If you're fucking somebody, then you're close. You have to have some level of closeness to that person to fuck them. If it was just a friend, that's one thing. But fucking that person, it changes the complexity of that whole relationship.
Yeah, it's pertinent information. And even if it's not, it's a tactic that a lawyer is going to use to paint said person a certain way.
Did you fuck Meg Thee Stallion?
So they're trying to make Meg Thee Stallion look like, somebody that was like a liar in a sense. So, maybe that lying about that sexual relationship or the inconsistency with the Gayle King interview, all of that stuff is pertinent information.
Was her booty the same size as in that video?
That nigga was
man. Tory was a lucky nigga, man.
Tory was in there.
Megan
was in that thing.
Megan, geez, man.
And he was about to smack Kylie too. That's a hat trick.
Man,
that's crazy.
That's wild, bro.
Yeah.
But Megan is, and the sad thing about it is Megan is she's not stupid. I think she has a degree too. She's very sexually attractive. She's talented, and look at the nigga she's fooling with.
Yeah.
This is what women fuck up. You could have all the talent in the world. You could be a superstar. You could be a registered nurse. You could be a doctor. But look at the dudes you deal with. Like, if you was really about what you say you about, you would not be dealing with a 5'3" rapper with a fucked up hairline. You just wouldn't. I think this is the same thing for men too. We have to cut this nonsense out, bro. We getting too old. And Megan and they're younger. I get it, but come on, man. This is the situation. I don't want to keep reiterating the same point. Tory is fucking her best friend and fucking her, and he about to fuck Kylie Jenner, all in the same party
at the same house. Think
about how low you gotta be I'm talking about as a friend group that y'all all fucking each other, and it don't stop there because it's a whole group of celebrities. That's why, like, I get in a group. If I ended up at some party with celebrities and I see some woman that I was like, I thought she was sexy or whatever, I wouldn't even touch her, man. Because I'm already knowing she's getting passed around. All those celebrities are passing each other around.
Yeah, it's high school.
Terrible. It's high school. It's high school, man. With me, I feel like success success is something I would never want to sacrifice. I would never want to squander that opportunity. So they'd be like, hey, Ed, man, you and Keith, you guys got to come to my party tonight, man. Love to have you, man. It's going to be a great time. I'll be like, all right, man, I definitely, if I don't got nothing going on, and I would never go to I never go to none of those parties.
I would say, hey, man, I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Straight for. I'm not going to like some family like get-togethers and stuff, but you won't see me at no party.
That's a good point. You could just be blunt about it.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, man, I'm not a party guy. I won't be there. But hey, man, you have fun. You could totally do that. You don't have to be like, if I'm not doing nothing, because then they're going to invite you again.
Especially the more like, one of the things we learned from like a couple people me and DJ ran into in terms of like successful businesmen and stuff
100%.
like that. They just straight shooters.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, I don't have time for this. So what's going on? And then so that's the space I want to be in. Like, yeah, I'm not going to that thing. But I will say, overall though, there was a certain level of like, I don't know if it was like, it was kind of a bunch of emotions wrapped up into one, whether it was like disappointment and sadness and frustration and all these things when it actually came down. Just seeing like Tory Lanez, he's a talented musician. He's a good rapper and singer. And I'm not a huge fan, but I do have a couple songs that I definitely like, play pretty. I'm gonna say not that often, but I like a couple of his songs, right? Mm-hmm. And to see, just to see that altercation is it's a sad situation across the board. And for all that to happen, the way it did, but just seeing a person that's my age and, had a thriving music
career,
career,
shit away,
and it was gone, like literally. And if you think about the situation, right? Meg is at Kylie Jenner's house. It's like a small gathering of like 7-8 people. She's there with her best friend. They drinking or whatever, doing the whole day fade or whatever the case may be. Tory Lanez gets a FaceTime call, and then who knows what he's doing. He probably at the house chilling. He pop up, and then they blitz him, like he said, with like 5 drinks or whatever the case may be, and then they just chilling, mingling, talking. He might be flirting with Kylie Jenner, all this stuff. Like all of this happened, and then eventually everybody leave because they acting too drunk and too belligerent, and then he in some capacity pulls a firearm out. And his life is over. Yeah,
he's just a trash human being. And then he made some sexual comments about Meg Thee Stallion that I thought was really off-putting when he said she can't take dick. Yeah. I thought that was trash. I think that as a man, you should not be kissing and telling, and especially going through details. You got a case of you shooting a woman, but you think that it's pertinent information to say she can't take dick. Mm-hmm. Is that an insult? Like, what's wrong with you, bro?
Yeah.
Like, look, at the end of the day, that's bad on your character. Mm-hmm. That's bad on your character as a man. You should be ashamed of yourself, bro. The fact that you would say that, like, yeah, she can't take dick. What does that even mean?
What does that got to do with the case?
What does that mean?
Also, I just think like when you like, one of the overall points that we're making too is like just situationally, like, we were talking about a while back. I think it was about like Chris Brown or Trey Songz or something like that. And the situation is like when these allegations come out, sometimes it's just nonsense. Like, it'll be like, oh, such and such celebrity did this, and they'd be like, yo, I wasn't even in America when you said this happened, right? But then there's certain situations where there's allegations, but people be having receipts. So it'd be like, you in a function or you drinking with said girl and she's accusing you of certain things. And it's just like, dang, why are you putting yourself even in that situation? Like, you got to be more mindful of, I wouldn't even say brand, because that's bringing it to a space of like notoriety and fame and stuff. But just as me and Eddie, as like, just regular people walking around Bakersfield, like, you got to be mindful of situations you in, just going to certain house parties and associating with certain people. Like, I just think that people got to really start thinking more like just really being strategic. Like that's why I was saying like to Eddie right now, like I'm not gonna be at no party. Like that's a decision that I made. Like one, I don't drink, and two, like I don't really care to be just mingling with a bunch of random people. So it's not my wave.
No, not at all. I think like I've mentioned before, your maturity only allows you to be in so many places.
Yeah.
So like me as a 37-year-old dude, let's say I get all of my success at 38 and a half or 39 years old. As a 39-year-old man, I'm not going to be hanging out with Tory Lanez. I'm not going to be hanging out with people like that. Truth be told, I don't care about anything outside of the content and the people. Like if there's certain people that say, hey man, we're having to get together at my house. Let's say it's like a rapper like Logic or, Russ. Or whatever like that. Like certain artists or certain people, I wouldn't mind hanging out with those people because I have an idea of what type of energy they're on. They don't get in no trouble. You know what I mean? So, or a guy like La Russell or something like that. You would understand.
Come to the pergola.
They're like, come down. You just know it's gonna be the vibe's gonna be good. It's gonna be respectful. It's gonna be productive. You're gonna be able to network. You're gonna learn something. Somebody gonna give you some game. But if you just hanging around somebody drinking with an unlicensed firearm, first of all, let's be very clear. The fact that you have a gun speaks more to your insecurity because it's not. I'm not an anti-gun guy. I have a gun myself. But as a superstar, right, that has security, your security should have the gun and not you. But the fact that you want to look tough, you have an unlicensed gun.
A gun registered to the security guard.
Oh, that was registered to him.
No, I was saying it should. That's how it should be.
It should be. But you got a gun that's not registered because you want to tote a little pistol around because you're 5'3" with a bad hairline, and you want people to think that you're tough. See, those are the worst guys. The guys that want to convince people that they tough.
Yeah.
What did I say earlier? I said like, yo, those dudes that be trying to get loud at the bar around their girl, like they want to be tough. And they want to show people that, like, they want to show people they tough around that girl. And it's like, bro, your girl know you a pussy, bro. She know you a coward. She knows that already.
Yeah. I'm hearing that, I'm curious to know, like Tory Lanez history with like dealing with women, because I know we all make mistakes and stuff like that, but I don't know. I don't think somebody that would assault a woman that doesn't seem to me like a one-time thing.
No, this ain't his first rodeo.
Yeah,
because most women are bigger than him, so he probably feels like he can hit them when they do something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Megan is so much bigger than him, dude. That's the thing that's crazy. Megan is what, 5'11", 5'10"?
That's what I hear. She's like 5'11".
She's like 5'11". So you got this big.
She got a big body too.
Yeah. So you got this, and she's not like, she's actually in really good shape actually. But you got this tall, thick black woman that's sexually attractive, that's dealing with a dude with thinning hair that's like 5'3". And there's no disrespect to his height or other men that's short, but the disrespect that this motherfucker has, his history of lack of respect and self-control. And it's just wild. Like, that's why it's important for women, man. You guys got to evaluate a man's temperament. That would be the number one thing I would tell women if I give them any advice after today's podcast. Pay attention to a man's temperament. If he's always angry and mad, that's not just how men are. That's how he is. Masculinity is peaceful. Masculinity is kind. Masculinity is cooperative. That's what masculinity is. Let's talk about this. Let's be calm. Let's speak in a orderly fashion. Let's talk like adults. That's masculinity. Not like, man, fuck these bitches, man, I'm tired of these motherfuckers. That's not masculinity. That's just a bunch of immature men that get in fights at bars for no reason, that get out in street fights for no reason. That's ignorance. And I think that there's so much of that going on that women think that, oh, that's just how, boys will be boys. No, you dealing with the wrong dudes, and you need to get away from them before you end up getting yourself hurt. Right? And that's not to blame women, but that's to give you advice of who the fuck to stay away from.
Yeah. I think along with that too, like, it's very interesting. Like, the way celebrities move, like in this day and age, especially, it's so much more money in entertainment. Tory Lanez, as an independent artist in 20, his career has kind of been downhill for the last 2 years. But as an independent artist, he talked about being able to make more money. He went on the Breakfast Club. He's talking about being able to make more money off of his catalog, being an independent artist, than he did, being signed to a major. So just knowing how much money is floating around, knowing that he did have security with him, it's crazy to me that these celebrities are still moving in this way. Like, this situation with Tory Lanez happened. He gonna do jail time. I think he gets sentenced at the end of this month.
I think he's already in jail.
Yeah, he's in jail. They took him in. They took him to custody, but he hasn't got sentenced yet.
Oh yeah.
And then Mozzie, a rapper from Sacramento, he I think he's doing like 2 years for getting caught with a weapon. Yeah, so it's like you just hear these situations, and I'm like,
what are y'all doing?
To a certain extent, I understand Mozzie, because there's a lot of like, the way the code that he lives by, especially being gang affiliated, is like, there's money on my head, so I'd rather get caught with a pistol, sit down, do my years, and then afterwards.
I disagree with that though.
I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm saying like I'm saying I understand it more so, like being a gang member, right? But there are people like Tory Lanez who like they're not gang affiliated in any capacity, or we don't even look at them as like threats to society, or like somebody out to get them. So.
I hear you, but I don't. I hear you because you said the gang member thing, but the issue with gang members is they put themselves in a line of fire. Mm-hmm. And rest in peace to Nipsey. I love him, but he did the same thing. Yeah, he was in the neighborhood that he was gang banging in, and he got took out by a hater ass nigga from his same gang. Mm-hmm. He's from Rolling 60s. Mm-hmm. So the thing about it is most gang members, the issue they have is they could be rappers, but they still mingle with the same niggas that have the ability to shoot them. Yeah. If you were a guy who attained a great level of success, you need to get the fuck away from people. Success should spread you so far away from people that you would never have a problem.
But the thing with those people, they just don't. It doesn't even matter the location. It's really to me. It's more of a shift in a mentality, right? Mozzie is from Sacramento. Mm-hmm. He live in L.A. Mm-hmm. King Von is from Chicago. He get killed in Atlanta. Like, because when that's the way your brain operate, it don't matter. Like you gonna bring the goons with you, no matter where you are. So it's just like.
But your energy and your maturity will only allow you to be in so many places. So it doesn't matter if you're in Atlanta or you could be in New Orleans. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You will still end up around another. You could be in Bakersfield. Mm-hmm. You will still end up around gang-related activity or around people who might want to rob you or some type of street shit. And it's like, bro, when you're successful, you cannot move like that. I mean, we could make up all these excuses all day, but Jay-Z was a real street nigga. You know that, right? Yeah. Like Jay-Z was really in the streets and he had a lot of money. My uncle told me that while he was locked up doing federal time, that Jay-Z had the same connect that he had. Mm-hmm. Like he found out that Jay-Z was a valid street dude when he was in prison. Mm-hmm. So if Jay-Z can separate himself, and they say Jay-Z moved like the mob. Yeah. Like he got
like the fruit of Islam with him. Yeah. Security guards.
Yeah, he got like the fruit of Islam. He got like a straight like force of people around him.
Yeah. But you gotta think like I think Jay-Z was always like from the jump, he was a little different than the average person. Like even his music wasn't like from his first initial albums, it wasn't like shoot 'em up, bang, bang. No. It was more so like the circumstances I came out of, and this is how I made it, and this is what I did. And
yeah, some references though to guns, some, not a lot.
Yeah, but I'm saying like for the most part, he might have lived similar life to like Mozzie, but it wasn't a Mozzie message.
No, he was on some boss shit from day one.
Yeah, exactly.
Even on the album cover, he had a freaking fedora hat on with a suit on Reasonable Doubt. Like Jay-Z been on some boss shit from day one.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same origin story, but just the perspective is
Mm-hmm.
a little different than most. And I think that's like the difference between somebody like Jay-Z who can grow up in this circumstance and then make it to being a billionaire and having real. I don't imagine. I can't see a world where Jay-Z is getting caught with an unregistered weapon.
No,
like if that happened,
never.
I would just be like, nah, this
never.
life is not real.
Nah, not at all. I think Memphis Bleak told a story about he needed some money or something, and Jay gave him some money. He said, go in there in the dresser, and it was literally, he had dressers full of $100 bills, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and he just took what he needed, but he said he knew he took what he needed because he knew Jay was going to count all that money again. And I was just like, oh, my God, this is fucking nuts.
It's interesting. I would be curious to know, like, we may never get the real stories, but, I'm sure your uncle has heard some crazy stories.
Oh, yeah.
But
he was locked up with his boy doing federal time.
What's his name?
Is it Tata? Mm-hmm. He was locked up with him. They think they was back east. It was all federal charges. Yeah, it was just a federal prison.
Yeah. But I would be curious to know like a Jay-Z like 5-part miniseries or something like that. I think that would be dope.
Yeah, I know.
Like just based on his life.
I guess federal prison is nothing like regular prisons though. Federal prison is for motherfuckers that then committed big crimes. So they don't take they don't put you in there with the like knuckleheads. It's like motherfuckers committing blue collar crimes.
Yeah, I could see that. Not like no, like more thought out stuff, I would imagine.
Yeah, and my uncle was in there for quite some time. So I was just like, dang, that's crazy. But I guess he used to hear him on the phone arguing with Jay and shit. On the phone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit my uncle. Yeah. And then I'll just probably have you around or something.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I'm sure you got a lot of interesting stories.
Yeah, he said he used to be yelling at Jay-Z, man.
Yeah, that's funny. I gotta hear those stories.
Yeah, that's a wild thing. Motherfuckers go. People listen to podcasts, bro. You know me better than that. I wouldn't play about shit like this, and I don't want to put Jay out there like that. I'm sure he won't come across this. He don't even got social media.
You never know, man.
You never know. He had social media for a hot minute and deleted it.
Yeah,
he only had it to promote some cowboy movie, and he just took it down.
Yeah, The Harder They Fall.
Yeah, I think I seen that. That's with Homeboy.
Yeah, Idris Elba. And
that was a great fucking movie.
It's a really good movie.
I'll tell you this. I don't even want to call it a black film. I just want to call it a Western because that's what the fuck it was.
Western, yeah.
It was a great fucking movie. It just happened to be. If you love Westerns, don't matter if you white, Mexican, black, whatever, you watch that film, it is literally a Western movie. Except it's just black.
It doesn't. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly.
That's all it was.
It just happened to be Regina King, Lakeith Stanfield, Idris Elba, but it's a typical John Wayne, whatever, whatever Western you like.
Regina King is a fucking beast, bro.
Yeah.
She really is, dog. Watchmen, I'm so mad that they didn't bring that show back.
Yeah. What I realized,
show,
God forbid I ever experience this, it's so much business involved in film, TV, and stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff dies because of the inability to get contracts worked out and stuff. So, the way they described it, and this is probably because how you were just talking about Southwest Airlines and how they made up the weather reports and all that to kind of cover up what was really going on.
Right.
Sometimes in such situations like Watchmen, I haven't watched the show, but I know that it just ended in one season, and they try to cover what the director or writer or the show creator said. He was just like, yeah, we intended it to be one season. We only wanted it to be like a limited series, but it's way more. I haven't seen it, so I'm not.
Great fucking show. You need to watch it.
It's way more meat on the bone though. To do one season of a show is like ridiculous.
Yeah, that shit was good, man.
Yeah, and I know like. There are some people like sometimes we won't know the real nuances of certain things until like we really in the industry. And then like I know sometimes there are like just certain artists that be real transparent. Like I remember Donald Glover was supposed to write an animated Deadpool, and there was like some fallout in terms of like what they call it, like creative differences or whatever. You know, people be getting fired and be like, oh, just we couldn't reach an agreement on the creativity of the project or whatever. But he was like, man, he came out on Twitter. He was like, here go the script. He was like, I don't want nobody telling you that I didn't have time or whatever the case may be. They just didn't do their part in terms of making it happen. So
I'll say this before we close. I think a movie that should be remade, and it would do and I think it would bring a lot of older people to the audience. I mean, to the movie theaters. But a movie they should remake is The Breakfast Club. And you haven't seen it, but you haven't seen it yet, have you?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Breakfast Club it's one of my favorite movies ever. It came out in 86, 85 or 86. And it's basically a group of different people that all got detention, just different kids. One is a jock, one is a nerd, one is like a freaking gothic chick or whatever, right? I don't think she was gothic. I think she was just like closed off, right? And a nerd and all kinds of people and the pretty girl, just the typical staple of kids you see in high school. They all in detention and they all start discussing their differences and there's conversations going on. I think that would be a perfect movie to come out with today. But in today's movie, this would be a good idea. It would be, you know, black, Mexican, white, somebody that's trans, somebody that's gay, and just different walks of life. Somebody that's liberal, somebody that's conservative, and like literally have these younger people like working through their problems. And I think it would be a great film to come out.
That would be interesting. It might change society.
It would. I think that'd be a powerful movie, right? And if I was to present that to Hollywood, they would probably find some way to package it up. But I think it would be dope. I think it'd be dope to do that. Yeah, that movie would kind of write itself.
Yeah. Especially now, that's like the way that Hollywood is moving to kind of create that like the inclusion, as they would call it, or like you know, being able to touch all these different demographics. And that's a way to do it without forcing it, right? Because it's kind of, the movie is kind of based on all these different type of people coming together and, you know, being able to be cordial, I guess.
100%. And not only that, literally updating, because back then there was no cell phones. So if you go all the way to now and even have the conversations of social media and the pretty girl that's taking pictures of herself during detention trying to get her likes up and stuff like that, and you know, I think that all these conversations and bringing them to the forefront, I think that would be a really fucking good movie, man. Really good movie. Yeah, but
I think so. I think I finally finished Ozark completely.
Oh, you finished it? Oh my God. Great fucking show. Your girl watched it?
It's a really good show. Yeah.
It took y'all a minute to sit down and watch it.
I was caught up to the last season, but when the last season came out, it's just so long.
I love the writing, and the crazy thing about it is how his wife just turned into a fucking power hungry.
She was like a boss, huh?
She went crazy.
Yeah.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. The old cartel, I think she was like the negotiator or whatever, the tall white chick. When they shot her, I was low key happy because
she was like I think she was a lawyer.
She's a lawyer, yeah, but she was deeper than that. Like she was like a low key shot caller, and she was happy that she was about to get that role, and then dude just came and blasted her. Boom.
Yeah.
He's like, I need you to watch my son. Like, that first motherfucker, I could not stand him.
Yeah.
And then the snails killed him.
Yeah.
And then the next dude came up. He was terrible. He was just coming there. And he was just like wilding, just killing people for no. He killed the sheriff.
Yeah.
And he just like cleaned it up.
Yeah.
I was glad when they got that motherfucker.
That's one thing about that show. When you start getting tired of somebody, they die.
You're like, man, get him out of there.
Just as soon they like in the prime of his like annoyance, you'd be like, yeah, this nigga about
you know,
to die.
He was crazy when he killed the snails, but then he killed the son, or he killed that girl's brother. I was like, no. And the old lady was fucking that young boy.
Yeah. They be having scenes where they having sex. I'm like, ugh.
Oh, man.
That nigga knocking down that old pussy.
He knocking her. She looked like her pussy smelled like cigarettes.
She got an ancient look to her. She look like Tales from the Crypt.
She smelled like oil there.
She smelled like oil. One thing about that show that I really like is it didn't over glamorize the way people looked.
No, I love that.
Like a lot of Hollywood, and that's like there's certain genres that we learn about in schools. One of them is called Italian neorealism. And in that genre, they use a lot of characters that really look like, you know, the way it's described in the screenplay, right? Because sometimes in Hollywood, you'll have the Chris Evans playing like, you know, the rugged guy or whatever. But it's like in real life, that Chris Evans wouldn't be nowhere near, you know, that role. You know, it might be a person that is like a little less attractive, right?
Right.
So I think a great thing that what they did with that show is like, there's not really like attractive people in the show.
They just found real people.
Yeah, they look kind of weird and they're really good actors, and then they just do a great job.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. They found real looking people, all just across the board. That's what real people look like.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
But these movies that are annoying is like Fast and Furious, where they just find a bunch of attractive people and put them in a film. Exactly. It's like that's not real.
Yeah.
Like if you look at any major movie, let's think about some major movies that are out now. Not even out now, just recent years, and it'll be like, I don't know.
I would say one that comes to mind is like Creed, right?
Yeah,
like the most physically imposing and the most attractive people.
Michael B. Jordan, his blind wife is hot too. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, but some boxers don't look like, you know, niggas be like,
bottom lip, somebody bit it off during a fight.
Yeah,
it's like, come on,
eyebrows
man.
all swollen.
The Russian dude, and look, I'm not judging the man's looks, man, but we know when the men are handsome. We know this. We know, like, we'll crack an ugly joke on a dude, which means we understand,
what the opposite.
You know the opposite that is. The Russian dude he's a good looking guy.
Yeah,
right.
He was buff, in shape, everything.
Yeah, and that's not how life looks. That's not how motherfuckers
even
look.
Boxers don't really look like that. No,
boxers. A lot of boxers grew up poor, man. They all they ate was oatmeal and dreams when they was kids.
Yeah.
By the time they finally start making money, that's when they start to get good nutrition.
Yeah. It's Hollywood, right? So like when it comes to boxing, like I would even imagine like Floyd Mayweather, who he may have like 5% body fat or something stupid like that. Even him, like during a fight, he not super cut up.
No,
like, you know, especially after he hydrate and stuff overnight. You know, at the weigh-in, he gonna be cut up, but in terms of like really fighting, he don't be like that put together like that.
Yeah,
yeah,
man. Well, look here, man. This has been a long one. Where we at, man?
221.
Yeah, I knew we had put some work in, man. So yeah, first off, shout out to DJ, man, for giving us good content, you know, until he had to take off. But yeah, I could tell he was like really in it.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
he lay
Especially when we got into them roaches.
Oh yeah, he's like, I got a lot to say about roaches. Let me tell you
what is the title? What is the roach? We said Roachamania.
Yeah, Roachamania. Yeah. Instead of Hulkamania, he said Roachamania, brother. All right. Well, if you made it to the end of this episode, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
And we are out of here.
Peace.